your home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Never been this late before. That's crazy.
Yes, yes, yes. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. I'm so sorry for my tardiness. I had to get a little Stiles espresso in me.
I told you a minute and a half.
Well, and I pressed the button. And it's time to press the eject button or the engage button on the quarterback conversations. And your segue strikes again. Let's go, baby. It's time. I've missed quarterback controversies, and it is time. We have so much to talk about. Mac Jones. I got my Mac Jones for all you viewers on YouTube. I got my Mac Jones red and black sunglasses on, my stunner shades. People know, if you're a millennial, you know what the stunner shades, how they really get down. Mac Jones' half black, half red suit. You knew he wasn't coming to play around, that is, because he did ball out. Mac Jones in his 3 starts so far, 86 for 129, 904 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, only 1 interception, 3-0. But it ain't about even what he's done in the past. Oh, that's the Saints. That team's not good. Give me a break. He's 33 of 49 against the Rams. 342 yards. Are you kidding me? 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. And shout out Kendrick Bourne as well. Shout out the Niners defense. But this is about mac and cheese. And I told you, before I get into the Brock Purdy stuff, I told you, send the plane now. Now, Mac Jones is under contract, which makes life very interesting for him and the Niners. But the Niners are in a good spot because if they do want to move on from Mac at any point next season, somebody wants to trade for him, they could have a pretty high price tag, whether that's the Raiders, whoever it is. But on the other side, can you afford to get rid of Mac Jones right now? Brock Purdy, that report, Brock Purdy is week to week. Okay? The toe situation is worse than they thought. Then he re-aggravated it. There was a whole bunch of what's going on here. There are different reports. That's always what happens with the Niners. But the bottom line is we don't even know, and they're going to get a little mini bye here because they played on that Thursday. We don't even know if Brock is going to be ready. And now you have a situation where you were playing with house money. 8.5. Nobody thought the Niners were going to do anything. Well, besides people like me. But even myself, I knew that it would have to be something insane. If you were to tell me, well, how are the Niners going to beat the Rams? Well, first of all, the Rams are going to be idiots and not take the field goal to keep it going. And all the times, this is what I don't get about the Rams. And Sean McVay, he can remember the cereal, a random day he had Fruit Loop cereal when he was 10 years old. He's got this ridiculous memory. That's all fine and good. I'm trying to figure out how you get that huge play to Tutu Atwell. By the way, Tutu Atwell might be one of the best plays in prop talk because they're going to go deep to him at least once a game. I know I don't like all those receivers that they have, but Tutu right now seems like a good bet. And we'll talk about prop talk a little bit later. I hope you got on the train with a sizzle. I don't know, Kyle, we got to revisit what you had, but I know Demarcus Robinson hit. And what did you have,
Mac
Kyle?
Jones 5.5.
The rushing yards?
Yes.
The one thing that didn't hit?
I guess so.
Oh, my goodness,
I also
Kyle.
said if you felt good, take Valdez-Scantling for 19.5, and I think he got there.
There you go. A use check hit. I mean, it was all over. When you throw for 342 yards, that's a prop talk dream. But I don't understand if you're the Rams, you get that big play to Tutu Atwell, and your Kyron Williams, who I guess has been talking a lot of trash to the Niners and just talks a lot of trash in general, fumbles at the goal line. What a terrible game for Kyron Williams. He fumbles at the goal line, right? He gets punched in the face and then fumbles at the goal line. and then proceeds to not get that last yard. But I'm not even necessarily putting that on Kyron Williams. I don't understand why, if you're going to run, why not run the football right after the play to Tutu Atwell? Why wait? You haven't had a running play in the last 7-8 plays you've ran, and now you're going to try to get 4th and 1. And that's where you decide the most obvious thing there was to just do a little play action, even if it was to the running back. Very bizarre stuff. And Sean McVay, he wore it. He said, I put my guys in a bleep situation, and I wore it. I bleeped all that up. That's what Sean McVay said. But it ain't about the Rams. It ain't about the Ramley. And there is no Ramley. Okay, everybody in there, they said it was supposed to be 60% Niner fans. It was more like 98%. There was barely any blue in there. They went to Levi South, and they owned it the way they always own it. And like I kept trying to tell y'all, Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay. That's what it's been. Yeah, they got that one. They got the playoff game. I get that. But there are certain teams that you just don't bet against when it comes to the Niners and Kyle Shanahan. And Kyle Shanahan and the Rams, most of the time, you're going to be okay. If you took the 8.5, you knew that was solid in the first quarter. In the first drive, you knew that was solid because mac and cheese came to play. Mac and cheese came to play. And let's think about it for a second. Now, all this stuff is getting brought up, right? Kyle Shanahan, I think there was a rumor that Kyle Shanahan dang near got bullied out of taking Mac Jones with the 3rd pick, because even though people liked Mac Jones, the Niners decided they wanted to trade up, and Mac Jones had a decent amount of upside, first-round pick, but they did not think he had top 5 upside. So they went with the guy who had top 5 upside, but Trey Lance, unfortunately, is not very good at throwing the football, right? He's just not a very good quarterback. But they went with the upside, and there was a rumor that Kyle Shanahan wanted Mac Jones.
So the story's never been, like, confirmed by a reporter, but basically it was if they had stuck at 12, Shanahan wanted to take Mac Jones, but when they traded up to 3, he kind of knew they couldn't justify trading 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones, so they went with the high upside pick, basically. But before they traded for the 3 pick, he really wanted to take Mac Jones.
And Mac Jones looked like he was struggling all game. I guess it was just cramps. I thought that brother was out at least 4 or 5 times. The memes are insane of Mac Jones. Just the definition of a gritty win, the definition of just making sure your team is going to walk away with the victory. Eddie Pinheiro, that crazy field goal that just grazed the left goalpost and still went in.
He had a 59-yarder too.
Just a crazy game, man. And I know I'm going to have some fun with the quarterback controversy, but ultimately, before I get there, great game by the Niners. Nobody thought that they had a chance. That's what Mike Greenberg had said. Every time there are these huge favorites, you don't have to necessarily take them to win, but they're not going to cover, or they get the bleep beat out of them, like Kyle said yesterday. But with a division game like this, the way Mac Jones had been operating, I think that was the easiest 8.5 you could ever see. Now, I took it a step further and took them to win. Did I feel good about it? No, I thought it was going to be Demarcus Robinson that had the Kendrick Bourne game. But Kendrick Bourne, I thought Demarcus Robinson was going to get revenge on the Rams, revenge game. Kendrick Bourne got revenge on himself for playing poorly last weekend. So Kendrick Bourne, he shows up. That was ridiculous. And these guys, I'll tell you this much, though, Kyle. For anybody, any Niners fan that is saying, Allen, just give it a rest. We don't want to talk about this quarterback controversy. Let me tell you this. This is where Kyle Shanahan does his best work. Every season, the Niners have a quarterback controversy. It feels like they have a deep playoff run. Every season, there's questions and concerns. They go to the NFC Championship, at least. Every time they go to the Super Bowl, and it's in Levi Stadium this season. So you should want a quarterback controversy. This is where Kyle Shanahan does his best work. He cooks when people don't know who the quarterback is going to be. When it's boring and we know, they don't do anything.
No, he does best when people are confused whether the quarterback is good or not. That is his best work, which, by the way...
But there's always a question of, how good are any of these quarterbacks? All we know, and I think Dave said this on the morning show before they proceeded to say the same joke about me about 18 different times. All we know is that Trey Lance at that time must have been basuda. Trey Lance must have been very bad. And it was just a bad fit as well. But literally, every guy who's picked up a football hasn't looked like Mac Jones per se, but they've looked pretty dang good.
Even C.J. Beathard's still hanging around somewhere.
And I'll tell you this much, not to just highlight the quarterbacks, and because people will highlight the quarterbacks and the running backs, it also affects the wide receivers. Kyle Shanahan, look, we don't know when Brandon Ayuk's going to be back. I think at this point, we don't necessarily know if Brandon Ayuk is as elite as we think. There's certain wide receivers, just like quarterbacks, that would be elite in any system. I think there are certain wide receivers. You got Kendrick Bourne. I don't have him, or he wasn't available, but Kendrick Bourne looking like Jamar Chase last night.
Well, it's funny you said that, Allen, because I think we need to update our all-time NFL lists of duos that just click, right? Tom Brady and Gronk, Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates. Think we got to add Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne to that list, because for whatever reason, Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne just have chemistry where before he even breaks out of a route, now granted it's a 7-yard out route, but
every time
before he ever breaks out of a route, Mac Jones puts a perfect pass on him. And I don't know why it's the case. Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne are like Brady and Gronk at 7-yard out routes.
And I'll give you this much as well. When it comes to the Juwan Jennings stuff, certain people were on the side of Juwan Jennings. Certain people were on the side of the organization and the Niners. Honestly, you could see why the Niners were thinking, sorry, Juwan, we just think we have a good enough system that we don't need to pay you big money. And Kendrick Bourne can be you. This is exactly what Juwan Jennings was worried about. He had the calf situation. People said it was real. They didn't say that he was faking anything like that. When the word got out, when there was a report that they were going to sign Kendrick Bourne, Juwan Jennings was in camp the next day. And that's probably his agent saying, look, brother, you're a good player, but this Kyle Shanahan system is not to be played with. Kyle Shanahan probably wakes, and I'm not even the biggest Kyle Shanahan guy, but you got to give credit where credit is due. I think he can come off smug sometimes. I think he is a cool dude. I think he's a player's coach. That's my definition of a player's coach, but I think he can come off a bit smug, and that was just kind of the Niners organization these last couple seasons because they've been so dang successful, they just haven't won the big one. But Kyle Shanahan wakes up every morning just thinking, I could make any mother bleeper good at football. I can just walk around. I can pick up somebody off the street, and Kendrick Bourne he's not that bad. Don't get me wrong. But if he put, maybe not Sky Moore, but if he put a lot of these wide receivers,
no one's saving Sky Moore.
You're the one guy that you will not save.
Nobody's saving him.
But he can put any of these guys, all these running backs, right? All these running backs. We can't get rid of Mostert. We can't get rid of any of these running backs. They leave and they disappear.
Wilson.
Because they are not in the Kyle Shanahan system. Running backs, wide receivers, honestly, Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo almost made Devontae Adams retire from football. From football.
And then Devontae went right back to that old thing.
Luckily he's not playing right now.
I don't know. Matthew Stafford is one injury away from.
No, he seriously is. He seriously is. And maybe the argument, people wanted to say that about Puka. It's a very Puka-heavy offense, and this is the same thing that we've seen with Cooper Kupp and how he won the Triple Crown. But if I'm Kyle Shanahan, look, I know I just said, he can come off smug sometimes. Yeah, I got to be honest with you. I'd come off smug, too, if I were Kyle Shanahan, because I can make anyone good at football. I have an ultimate package and just ultimate ownage over Sean McVay. Now he's got to win the big one, obviously, but head to head, Sean McVay, he gets a little tight in the backside whenever he plays Kyle Shanahan and starts doing weird stuff.
This is why, when I think back to Belichick, which, funny enough, Kendrick Bourne ended up going to play with Belichick and Josh McDaniels, which, by the way, let's just say Kendrick Bourne is a very good receiver. Like, I'm not going to pretend like, Kendrick Bourne is this all-world guy. He had a very good career, and it flamed out in New England because New England had Matt Patricia as their offensive coordinator. Mm-hmm. But when you have these geniuses like Belichick or Shanahan or Andy Reid that are doing these innovative things, Sean McVay on offense or defense, it's why the do your job thing works so well. Because if you believe in the system and do what you're supposed to do, things like this can happen all the time. I mean, how many times have we seen Shanahan pull victories like this out of nowhere with Nick Mullins and CJ Beathard's and Jimmy Garoppolo's and everyone else, Josh Johnson's. Like, they've done this year after year with different quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Heck, if you told me Tonjes went to Jacksonville next year and did nothing, I'd believe it too. Tonjes all of a sudden is catching 100 yards in a game.
Oh, Kyle, I was waiting for them. Now, I got to always be careful when I read stuff live, but we do have, because, Sean McVay got a photographic memory. I got what's left of a photographic memory too. And we have a response from our special 916 number, who said there is no controversy. Brock is much better than Mac Jones, and I'm a miserable Raiders fan. Now, the last part they did get right, and they have chimed in here, so I'm going to read it to us live. And you can put your name on it, 916, if you want to continue this back and forth. This is what they said. Again, controversy and hypotheticals about Brock and Mac are only relevant if the coaching staff and ownership and team feel that way, which they don't, I'm pretty sure. Okay, so you have sources. Good to know. They also go on to say they don't. So until then, it's just hot air and clickbait and a spew to get people to listen. It's irrelevant hot take. Everybody knows who the starter is going to be. You're just making bleep up to stir the pot because you're a miserable Raiders fan. Yes, 916. I am the only person in speaking about the Niners in football, talking about Brock Purdy versus Mac Jones. You're not hearing that anywhere else. It's only me. You can say whatever you want, 916. Brock Purdy's getting paid $50 million more than Mac Jones, and nobody is sure right now that he is that much. Well, I am sure. Brock Purdy is not $50 million better than Mac Jones. Now, part of this is an over-evaluation of Brock Purdy, and part of this is an under-evaluation of Mac Jones. But you can continue to say, you're not wrong. I'll give you this, 916. You're not wrong because Brock will start. Because Brock has to start because they've paid Brock. But that has nothing to do with what your eyeballs are telling you.
Well,
just try. Look, if I'm a miserable Raiders fan, stop being a Homer's Niner fan for 2 seconds and just use your eyeballs. When you watched Mac Jones last night, how much better do you think Brock Purdy is than that Mac Jones? It's that simple. It's that simple. You don't have to say Brock Purdy will start for the Niners. Don't get me wrong. But all I need is the controversy. You got people, we got sound from 2023 with Dan Orlovsky. Ryan Clark said the Niners would have already won a Super Bowl if they drafted Mac Jones, but I'm the only one drumming this thing up. It's all fine and good. And if they keep going, and by the way, your boy got to get on the field. How about that? You got Mac Jones, who, honestly, I thought he was going to be carted off multiple times getting up. And I'm not comparing the injuries. If you can't go, you can't go. Brock shouldn't have went last week. Maybe they would have won if Mac Jones could have went. He was injured too. But the bottom line is that Mac Jones has looked very good, and you're not going to convince me and anybody, really, that Mac Jones and that Brock Purdy, there is a $50 million difference between those two quarterbacks. I don't think, Kyle, I don't know if there's a $10 million difference between those two quarterbacks. No, and I'm being completely honest with you.
There's degrees to this, I will say.
I'm just saying.
Like, McCorkle might be better than most people think. Also, for your point about putting your name on it, now that we have the fun feature on the text line where we can add contact info to texters, I think for the time being, that texter's code name should just be Miserable Raider Fan.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
So miserable Raider fan from the 916 talking about the Brock and Mac thing. I do think there's degrees to it because I've seen the ceiling for Brock Purdy be higher than literally anything Mac Jones has ever had. Now, granted, Mac Jones when he was on the Patriots was grittying in the Pro Bowl.
And I will say, there's a reason Mac got signed. Don't sleep. If you look up what Mac did towards the end of the season on the Jags, he had a couple good games with the Jaguars. There's a reason that the Niners picked him up. He had some good games towards the end of the season once he was cooked.
I mean, Doug Peterson got fired from it.
No, I'm just saying, I mean, those games, he was already going to get fired, right? But I'm just saying that the season was over for the Jags. But if you watched Mac Jones, it wasn't as bad as you thought. So you had a good season in New England, and then you had a kind of bad, wonky season. Then then you're just a backup now.
Well, no. Then they named Matt Patricia the right. offensive coordinator.
And then in life, it happens very quickly in sports. So now you're a backup. You're stuck behind Trevor Lawrence, and a couple years later, you get your opportunity, and this is how it goes. If nothing else, and like I said, fly him out to Las Vegas right now to be with the Raiders. Right bleeping now. But if nothing else, Mac Jones just created a career for himself. That game last night, he will bounce around being a bridge quarterback for the next 7 years. He has created a whole new career for himself. He's going to get an opportunity as a starter once he's done with the Niners, unless he takes Brock Purdy's spot. Okay, I had to throw that in there. But he's probably just going to back up Brock for another season. Somebody might trade for him and then make him a starter, or they'll wait till his contract is over and then they'll pay him. If nothing else, Mac Jones just changed the trajectory of his career.
Well, also, if you're Shanahan, why would you let him out the door? This is the quarterback you always wanted.
Well, he can't because Brock Purdy's got toe, and it's the elbow, it's the toe, head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You just don't know.
But I'm saying, like, even this off season, if like a team offered a 3rd-round pick for him and you're the Niners, it's like, no, I gotta keep that. I gotta keep him in the back pocket.
Think about it like this: if Brock comes back, right, and they do anything other than win a Super Bowl, if they won a Super Bowl, I think that Kyle Shanahan, if somebody's offering a 3rd and they won a Super Bowl with Brock, I feel like Kyle Shanahan would say, okay, we got to the promised land with Brock. We can find Mac was great for us. And that would be so long ago, right? Week 5 would have felt like forever ago. Let's go ahead and take a 3rd rounder. Yeah. But if they do anything other than win this, even if they get there, because they got there before, they do anything other than win a Super Bowl, they will not move off. I don't see them moving off of Mac Jones, because that's how Kyle Shanahan, y'all think I like drama. Kyle Shanahan loves this is where he thrives, in chaos.
He's never been happier. I promise you, he's never been happier these last few years than getting to just scheme up for Mac Jones. Because what did Mac Jones do well? Play actions and out routes to Kendrick Bourne. And that's all Shanahan wants to do, is screen passes, out routes to Kendrick Bourne, and play action passes. And he, with his big galaxy brain, believes he can win any football game against any team by running those concepts over and over again.
So the phone lines are open. By the way, texter's name is Michael, so shout out Michael. Phone lines are open, 916-339-1140. Forrest says Allen loves the Niners drama so much he's talking in fast forward again. Yeah, no yerba mate for me today. I haven't even, like I said, I was running late to the show because I was getting my coffee. I haven't taken a sip of the coffee.
This is what 5 hours of sleep does for you.
I'm just fueled on chaos and drama. That's right, Forrest. That's how I'm fueled for the next 4 hours. We have sound from Kyle Shanahan on Mac Jones. We have sound from Trent Williams on Mac Jones. We have sound from Mac Jones. And I'll play that sound from Dan Orlovsky because I have a confession to make when we do play that sound. Let's get to the phone lines. Am I out of my mind? Is this on me? Is there anybody else that's looking around thinking, you know, that mac and cheese sure can spin it? Allen Stiles, Sac Sports.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduce stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257. 800-505-9257.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease? Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
Phone lines are ringing. Text line is on fire. I had to take my shades off because it wasn't that hard to see, but I can see. My vision is clear now for the Niners.
Visions are clear.
Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. We have some sound that we are going to get to. And I just want to say this. I see everybody pouring in the same thing. Go get Trey Hendrickson. It's very obvious. And I would like that because Jamar Chase is on my fantasy team. I had the #1 pick. I had the curse of the #1 pick. I'm telling y'all right now, I just don't see Kyle Shanahan doing it. He can't help himself. He cannot help himself. Mac Jones will not be moved this season. Look, obviously, I don't know that for a fact, but I feel like I know Kyle Shanahan enough. Number one, how can you even talk about trading Mac Jones when we don't know when Brock Purdy's coming back? You can't trade Mac Jones right now.
No, Mac Jones is going to be a Niner for the rest of this season. I promise.
That's how I feel. And again, not even anything about Brock or any type of battle. Brock is not healthy right now. So how could you trade Mac Jones?
Yeah, you're going to want Adrian Martinez to be one injury away from going in?
The only way you can one-up a Brock story is if you have the UFL MVP come in and ball out, and that would be if Adrian Martinez. Kyle Shanahan has the infinity stones of feel-good stories and guys that no one thought were going to make it.
Is that where he was? Because I only know Adrian Martinez.
I Googled it yesterday.
Okay.
I Googled it yesterday.
I only know him as he was at Nebraska for 8,000 years.
That's right. 916-339-1140. Phone lines are popping off. Let's get our morning started with Bobby. Wants to be part of the conversation. What's up, Bobby? What you got for us?
What's up, guys? How you doing?
I'm good, man. Happy Friday.
Same to you. Pleasure to have you back, too. I hope everything's going well for you, man.
Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that, Bobby. What you got? Am I crazy on this Mac Jones thing? How you feeling?
No, I think it's actually deeper than we want to believe because Kyle is he's a great, he'd be a great poker player with that because really, guys, let's be honest. Like, Purdy played okay against Seattle. He did. But against Jacksonville, and we can blame the toe. He said it wasn't bothering that much, but he played really bad. He was missing a lot high in Seattle, and he was missing everything high against the Jaguars. And it's like he got paid, right? So now, like, he's the man when it's like what made him the man in getting that contract was he fit the system. He didn't play out of his talent realm. He's playing out of his talent realm. He doesn't have a good arm. He's not a big guy. He's getting his balls batted. He's a turnover machine his last 8. Well, guys, let's be honest. They put out a stat where he's like a turnover machine his last 13 games.
Yeah.
So he needs to go back to being system Brock Purdy because that's why he got paid.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Bobby. I hope your weekend is a good one. You know what's funny about that, Bobby? That's what Brock said going into the season. Brock said, he's very, very open, right, and self-aware. Brock said, I need to stop. He didn't say Brock star, but basically that's what I call him when he starts to do a bunch of random stuff. I need to stop being a Brock star. I need to get back to what I was doing my first season when I took over. He said that, and then he went out there and tried to be a Brock star, and now he's not healthy. So, and we played the sound from Steve Young yesterday, my guy, the lefty, and Steve Young said the reason he's leaving those throws high is because he's not driving. He can't drive off that toe because he's obviously a righty thrower, and I believe it's his right toe, and that's a problem, which is why he can't play right now. But even the decisions that were being made when he starts scurrying around, and I know the O-line, he was running for his life last season, but Brock, he turns into a cowboy a little bit, right? And I know he likes his corn in Iowa, but he just got to chill. He's got a little bit too much dip on his chip, and, you know, I don't think that's him because Brock doesn't strike me as this guy with all his bravado, but he kind of plays like that. He said he was going to stop, and he didn't stop. He has continued to play like that. And Mac Jones, you know, it's so funny because once you get humbled a little bit, you go back to the basics. And Brock didn't have a great season, but he didn't have all of his weapons, right? And that was a part of it. And then on the other side, he got paid. So Brock didn't really get humbled. They had a bad season. They didn't have any of their guys. Everybody was injured. They move off of Debo, who's actually playing pretty well for the Commanders. Debo's perfect for Mariota, by the way. Whenever you have a shaky thrower, just give it to Debo and let him do his thing. Just a quick sidebar. But Brock goes on to get paid a bunch of money, right? So he didn't really get humbled the same way Mac Jones, former first-round pick, bounced around as a backup. He's not in a position to turn into a gunslinger, right? All he wants to do is exactly what Kyle wants him to do, and that's what Mr. Irrelevant does. We have basically his Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? And Brock Purdy has to decide who he's going to be. Mr. Irrelevant is the guy who got that team to a Super Bowl, and a guy that was very polarizing whether or not he should be in the MVP conversation because his numbers look like that, even though the eye test maybe didn't always past that realm of it. Brock Star makes some questionable decisions, high risk, high reward, and probably sometimes ticks off Kyle Shanahan. In a perfect world, Brock Purdy can marry Mr. Irrelevant and the Brock Star. But right now, you start the game and you know pretty quickly who you're going to get. And we haven't really seen Mr. Irrelevant in a long time. We've seen the Brock Star, and now he's been paid as the Brock Star. That's what it's been.
But the tough part about it, though, is like you limit your ceiling theoretically if you can't do some of those things that Brock Purdy was doing.
No, you got to be a little Brock. It's just too much. He's gone too far. The teeter-totter, he's gone too far now.
But now where it's come back around all the way is because, again, we were having these conversations back in May about Brock Purdy, and then he said the thing in August and all that stuff. But where it feels different now, I'm not saying the situation is different, but it's like, we're taking a bunch of dudes that Mahomes said he didn't want and Kendrick Bourne, and we're beating the Rams.
And I'm glad you said that. I completely buried the lead there. Mac Jones just did all this, and I know I talked about Kendrick Bourne, but no Kittle. Debo's gone. No Ayuk. Last season, Brock did have some of those guys, larger sample size throughout the season. He didn't have everybody all season long, and he was missing McCaffrey, but Mac Jones just did what he did. If we're going to have these comparisons, the best that we've seen to argue any of the Niner fans or even non-Niner fans that think that Brock is much better than Mac, the best we've seen Brock, when Brock has looked like this, Brock has had the Avengers. Mac looked like this without the Avengers. You know what they were? They were what was the movie I just watched, The Avengers with an asterisk? That's what it was. You got the Captain America who nobody likes and he's scorned, right? You have Black Widow's sister. That's who you got. Bucky and his arm. That's who they are.
Is that what that movie was about?
That's right. And they end up being the new Avengers, but they have no superpowers. That's exactly what those are the Avengers that Mac Jones was working with. He didn't get the real thing.
But what's so funny about it is everyone's going to jump to the overreaction part when, like, I remember during that Super Bowl run where they came closer than any team in NFL history without winning a Super Bowl.
Got to know the rules. Thunderbolts was the name of the movie, by the way.
Yes.
He's partying, Mac Jones partying with the Thunderbolts. He didn't get the Avengers. They okay, but they don't got no superpowers.
But at the same time, like, the Avengers aren't even there in San Francisco anymore. So even, like, healthiest case scenario, it's still not the Avengers from 2023, which was always the thing about Brock, right? People were saying he's the weakest link, maybe the offensive line, but it's like he's the weakest link on that Super Bowl team. Now he can't be that because they don't have the Avengers anymore.
And they're paying him.
Yes, but the other flip side to this year is it might also not matter at all the rest of the season because they will not play a harder game until the playoffs than this Rams game. This was the hardest game on their schedule the entire year. So while I say, oh, they might get tested down the line, no, there's no test until the playoffs. It's the easiest schedule ever. So they might never have to play one of those teams where the system isn't going to work or the system is going to get stopped by the more talented team until the playoffs.
Now, look, Kyle Shanahan has ownage to take that from Crook and Kipe. Shout out to my Giants broadcasters. Kyle Shanahan has ownage over certain teams, right? I've talked about the Seahawks. I've talked about the Rams. A team that I did also feel like that about was the Jaguars, and the Jaguars came to Levi and beat them.
Oh, this is the Duval Jaguars.
Yeah, exactly. Another team, because you said this will be the toughest test that they have. You're right. There really isn't much like this, but if there was going to be another shout in that realm, it would be October 12th, the next game the Niners have against my guy Baker Mayfield and the Buccaneers. Now, typically, Kyle Shanahan is taking care of business against the Buccaneers, but that will be the next one. So I don't know if it'll be Brock. I don't know if it'll be Mac Jones. But after that, you're right, Kyle. It does get much, much easier. The Browns, that's always just a weird game in Cleveland. Just always take the under if a game's in Cleveland. But besides that, you have the Rams again, but that's at Levi. You essentially just had a game at Levi last night. They really set themselves up nicely. And let's not forget, and yeah, they got to host the Seahawks at the end of the season. Let's not forget the I guess report was, or I guess how the math works, it was a 50% chance. Whoever won last night, they were being given a 50% chance, or the odds went up 50% to win the NFC West. And in part, that's because look at the Niners' schedule.
Yeah. Well, all the teams in the NFC West have easy schedules. The Niners just benefit because, like, the Rams had to play the Eagles, and the Niners get to play the Giants because they were last place last year. But most of the NFC West schedules are easy. It's why those division matchups mattered so much. And the Niners just stole three division wins.
Yeah.
They stole the win against the Seahawks with the Tonjes touchdown. They stole the win against the Cardinals because the Cardinals didn't know how to play defense at the end. And they just stole the win against the Rams by punching the ball out at the 1-yard line. It just flipped the entire season for the Niners because, like, now, who cares? They're going to make the playoffs because they could play.
There's no way they don't.
Yeah, they could play McCorkle and Kendrick Bourne and the receivers Mahomes hated, and they could still beat 6 of these teams left. The Falcons, the Giants, the Cardinals again, the Panthers, the Browns, the Titans, the Colts, the Bears. They could beat 6 of those teams with the what did you call them? The Thunderbolts?
Yeah, with the Thunderbolts. And I'll tell you who else is happy today. If you did listen to us and you made your way to Reno and you took the 10.5, I mean, that's as good as gold. That 10.5 for the Niners is looking real nice this morning. Real nice. 916-339-1140. Uh-oh. Let's get to TC, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on, Allen? Hey, so the whole Brock Purdy and Mac Jones situation, I know everybody don't want to overblow it, bro, but it's the eye test, right? Everybody want to bring up the eye test when it's relevant, right? And if it's not relevant to you, you don't never want to talk about eye test. The eye test, bro, is they're the same quarterback. If not Mac, if not Mac got better, Mac has better accuracy, and they're both warriors, but Mac is a true warrior, right? And what I took from that game is this is the guy that Kyle wanted. I'm like, Kyle's not getting these flowers from me. This is the guy. If this was your guy, bro, you should have stood on business. And when you traded up to 3, you should have got him.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. But that's the thing, and thanks for the call, TC. I was part of the bullying crew. When I heard that report and I heard they were thinking about taking Mac Jones at 3, I thought that's ridiculous because he shouldn't have been taken at 3. But to your point, TC, if that's your guy, that's your guy. And all these years later, we talk about bringing that old thing back. How about the one that got away? And that could be Kyle Shanahan and Mac Jones. Plenty of sound on the other side. Obviously, we got Kings when we hit 11 o'clock because training camp day 3 was a doozy. But we do have a ton of sound. I want to get to that sound from 2023 from Dan Orlovsky because I have something that I need to confess. And we also have sound from Mac Jones himself and, of course, Kyle Shanahan. Allen Stiles, Sacramento Sports.
Carmichael Dave here for my friends at American Energy Heating and Air. Yes, I always tell you they are a family-owned operation, been in business since 81, A-plus Better Business Bureau, but it is hot. We are in those Sacramento hot months. I want to focus on them being your second opinion partner. What does that mean? Maybe you've got somebody you're working with or you've worked with in the past in the HVAC world. Guess what? They want to give you a second opinion. How much does it cost? Nothing. You call them up and say, hey, can I get a second opinion on this deal? They come out and they either say, wow, that's a great deal, you should feel better about that, or they say, we can beat that price. And usually they're going to beat it by a lot. Guess what? You just saved money and it didn't cost you anything to find out. It's a no-lose situation. Go with a trusted company. American Energy, 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com. Jingle Singers, take it away.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Sacramento helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director. ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm a plumber and needed to get work in the door.
So business was going down the drain?
Yeah, I went to Staples. They printed yard signs, business cards, even flyers to leave at supply stores.
But at what cost, man?
Well, I saved $125 on my order, and now I'm booked solid. Boom!
Back at ya. For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online. Ends 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Allen Stiles here with your Sacktown Sports Injury Report, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Zach Geloff, out with that dislocated left shoulder, underwent successful surgery in Los Angeles in late September. Should be fully recovered and expected to return in 2026. Left-handed pitcher Sean Newcomb felt left elbow inflammation and unfortunately is out with the rest of the season after feeling tightness in his left elbow following his most recent outing. That was your Sacktown Sports Injury Report, brought to you by DTLA Law Group. Hey, I'm Allen Stiles. Injured at work? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, California's leading injury law firm. With over 40 lawyers throughout California, They have won over $500 million in settlements. DTLA Law Group will get you compensation for your work injury. You don't pay unless they win. That's right. You pay $0 up front. Call downtown. Text Injury Help to 40222. That's Injury Help to 40222. Visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Plenty of Kings talk coming up in about 15 minutes. We do have some sound that I've been teasing that we're going to get to here at the bottom of the hour. And the main thing, keeping the main thing, when you go back and forth, is it is early, right? It is early as far as Mac Jones. We've seen, and it's so funny, the term, how it's kind of taken on a world of its own. The Jeremy Lin run. We've seen Jeremy Lin runs before from quarterbacks, from basketball players. That's why it's called a Jeremy Lin run. From baseball players. Remember Akil Baddoo about 5 years ago to start the MLB season? Everybody thought he was the next Ken Griffey Jr. So we've seen guys ball out for a couple games and then fizzle. I get that. The difference is, I think, and we've seen what? Are we going to call Sam Darnold's run in Minnesota a Jeremy Lin run? Are we going to say that with Geno Smith? Depends on how things go in Las Vegas. That could be very possible because it kind of just declined for Geno little by little out there in Seattle. But Mac Jones has been around the block. But I do understand that it's early. We're having some fun, but at the same time, the layers of this and the idea that this is somebody that Kyle Shanahan wanted, and this is a guy that there's a bit of history behind him, and he is a first-round pick. That type of stuff, or former first-round pick, that type of stuff still matters. But we understand that if he goes out and lays an egg against the Buccaneers, yeah, this whole thing would be for nothing, and so a lot of people would look ridiculous, but that's what sports takes are about.
If I were Mac Jones, and we're being stupid here, and I love it, but that PCL, I don't know.
You're
Coach,
done? You're shutting it down?
3-0, got a contract coming.
I think that's a good point.
It's not. Don't pretend like it is.
Well, the only reason it's a good point is because you're realistically not beating out Brock. So if you want to protect your brand, and I think Brock, I don't know, I hope Brock's ready for the Buccaneers because I do acknowledge that Brock is better than Mac Jones. I just don't think he's $50 million better. Mac isn't going to do that, but you're right. It's the same thing I say about my baseball showcases back in the day. You get your hit, you get a ball hit to you, and you catch it, and that's about it, right? Hey, this guy can hit and this guy can field. Let's find a way to get him a scholarship. I don't need a couple at bats. If I get a hit on it, I go 1 for 1, I'm solid. Oklahoma State, whoever it is, what you got for me?
So here's kind of the point we should make about Brock Purdy, which I guess, we're being silly with a lot of this, but as long as Brock Purdy is healthy, he will be the quarterback of the 49ers. Now, there's a lot of football between now and when Mac Jones's contract expires,
yes,
which is after next season, where Brock Purdy could not be healthy. I'm trying to think. So that's, unless they expand the season to 18 games, that's 29 games plus playoffs. that they could need a backup quarterback because because Brock Purdy is not healthy. So it's nice to have Mac Jones because Mac Jones, as we're learning, is a high-end backup quarterback, former first-round pick, and fits what Shanahan wants to do perfectly. And by the way, just for Shanahan's mental health, I think it might be better to have Mac Jones on the team because Shanahan has, I promise you, never been happier than winning with Mac Jones throwing out routes to Kendrick Bourne.
Let's hear we got a couple pieces of audio from Mac Jones, and then we're going to hear from Kyle Shanahan. First off, this is Mac Jones on his performance. This was right after the game. Kyle's getting to it.
Mac Jones, congrats on your third win, leading the 49ers. Take me through what your body experienced tonight, because down to the end there, we could see how uncomfortable you looked on the sidelines.
Yeah, I'm good. I just can't show it, so that's on me, but I'm really proud of the defense. They played great. Offense did great until we had one sack the whole game, and it was on me, so they did an amazing job, and I'll be fine.
It looked like cramping the end there. I was worried.
Yeah, I guess that's what happens when you don't practice for a couple weeks, so that's my fault.
What was your swing of emotions through the course of overtime?
To be honest, like emotionless. I don't know. I just trust the guys, and none of that matters, really. It's just about one play at a time, and I know that they have my back, and either way we fought, if we would have lost, I still would have been really proud of everybody because just the way we fought and how our team bounced back.
When you guys came out firing, what is it about this system in San Francisco and Kyle Shanahan that is allowing you to have so much success?
Yeah, I mean, Kyle came up to me before the game, and he was pissed how we were underdogs, so he was like, just let it fly, and I was like, Coach, you don't have to tell me twice. So we made that happen, and just happy for the guys. What a great team win.
That was Mac Jones right after the game. Now let's hear Mac Jones in his press conference when somebody had the audacity to ask him about Brock Purdy and if he thinks that he is the starting quarterback of this team. He says, they brought me here to play as a backup. That's my job. Brock is the starter of this team right now, dealing with something. To go out last week, not at full health, he cares about this team. I'm trying to get wins for him. And last but not least, it's time. Let's hear Kyle Shanahan on his guy, Mac Jones.
He played his ass off, man. Was unbelievable in the first half. Got banged up a little bit there in the second half and battled through it and protected the ball, going against that defense and throwing the ball that many times and not having a turnover and protecting like he did. I can't say enough good things about Mac.
Cannot. He just cannot.
Oh, my God. I joked about this when he first went out, and I'm just going to keep saying it. Shanahan's never been happier. They might not win as much. They might lose by 17 points against the Eagles, but he's never been happier than he is right now, scheming for Mac Jones and Kendrick Bourne with Christian McCaffrey and Trent Williams. Because, when he was doing it with Nick Mullins, they were 2-7 in garbage because they had no talent yet. But now he's got talent. He can scheme up plays. He can run play actions, screen passes, out routes, zone runs. Oh, he's so happy.
Yeah, and the last piece that we kind of have on this, Kyle, let me know when it's ready. Dan Orlovsky. This is what Dan Orlovsky had to say back in 2023. And I have a confession to make after we listen to this sound. Here it is.
If Mac Jones was in San Francisco, he would be playing like Brock Purdy.
I actually agree. Oh, God, no.
Yes, dude.
No, there's no chance. He'd be better than he is. But if you think he's going to play like Brock Purdy, you haven't paid attention to Brock Purdy. That is a slap in his face.
No, it's not.
He's not just a system quarterback.
Did we pay
that guy's
attention?
playing like Joe Montana, not Joe Montana, like this guy's playing.
So that was Rex Ryan, who vehemently disagreed with Dan Orlovsky. And
Maybe he should have put his foot in his mouth.
Yeah, and Dan Orlovsky kind of spun the block last night. He reposted it. And my confession is I did not agree with Dan Orlovsky, and I posted about it as well, and I thought it was ridiculous at the time because I've just never really been a Mac Jones guy, and here we are a couple years later, and I'm ready to fly the dude out to Vegas. right now.
Alan, you like some bananas with your mac and cheese? Because all of a sudden...
Stop cramping, Mac. Stop cramping.
We got ourselves a buffet. Did you see Al Michaels saying he ate 11 bananas on the sidelines?
Ridiculous. Ridiculous.
He said after the game it was probably like 3 or 4, but we figured out that the Rams held the ball for 28 minutes during the game, which means he was on the field the other time. So he literally would have had to eat a banana every 3 minutes to make up for all the cramps.
And somebody on the chat, Logical Raptors Fanatic, says brisket mac and cheese. Yeah, he was brisket mac and cheese last night. He was on another level. All right. We have tortured Niner fans enough when it comes to Brock Purdy and Mac Jones. And don't worry, we will be spinning the block on this. If not, later in today's show around the 1 o'clock hour, it's going to keep coming up. And you know I'm going to keep bringing it up. But it's time for some Kings talk. Day 3 of Kings training camp in the books. Matt George continues his outstanding coverage. So we have some more notes for you. Do not move. 1 hour down, 3 to go. Allen Stiles, Sactown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave. I got to tell you, I am so excited to get this decking project started with Trex Decking and Railings. From the first time I stepped foot in the showroom last week, I was so impressed. So many color options, heat-resistant composite deck. What does that mean? That means I don't have to do any maintenance on it whatsoever. They even have a deck designer, so you can go online and see what your dream deck will look like on your house. Just visit Trex, that's Trex.com to get it started. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of Speed Test Intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sactown Sports 1140. Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sactown Sports.
Taking you up to 2 p.m. Great stuff in the first hour. If you're just now joining us, we got deep in the weeds with Mac Jones and Brock Purdy. You can check that out on the Sacktown Sports app. You can rewind on YouTube, however you listen to your podcast as well. And it is time to get into some Kings training camp day 3 takeaways. We have some audio for you as well. This is again from Matt George, who's doing a great job out there, giving us a nice report, if you will, on what is happening when the media hops in there and are able to see what the Kings are doing. We got to see some 5-on-5 at Sacramento Kings training camp, and Matt also posted that video, so be sure to check that out. These are the notes that he has. Number 1, Maxime Reynaud and Nick Clifford were both playing with the second unit. Love hearing that. Number 2, Malik Monk, primary backup point guard. Devin Carter also got some run, but I go back to that interview that we did with Malik. This whole thing with Malik being a non-point guard anymore is overblown, or I've always felt like it was a bit overblown. So we'll see how much Malik plays point guard this season. Number 3, Maxime Reynaud was very aggressive versus Domantas Sabonis. Number 4, Domas and Schroeder had a beautiful bounce pass on a backdoor cut for a layup. Number 5, Malik and Schroeder were a bit chippy, talking and playing handsy defense. Number 6, Zach LaVine had a nasty dunk, also got a steal, but was blocked in transition by my guy, shout out Philly, Daquan Plowden. Number 7, Keegan Murray had a strong take to the basket and hit a nice leaner. Number 8, a lot of shots weren't falling, but they were generating good looks. But I don't like that last one, Matt. We've seen that movie before. I don't like that last one, Matt, but everything else I love hearing. So great stuff from Matt George. And we have some audio as well, Kyle, about the audio about the chirping, or is it the actual chirping?
Yes, it is. So Matt George also had video of these 5 minutes that media, well, I guess Matt George media were allowed into practice. So yes, we have the audio of Monk and Schroeder going back and forth.
I'm sure it's got to be bleeped out. And now we have Malik talking about that interaction. Can't wait to hear this.
We saw you and Dennis chirping a little bit. That's a good thing, right? Early in camp to have some competition.
Sure. I chirp with everybody though, so probably gonna see more of that.
He mentioned one of them mentioned Zach. I think it was yesterday. Was talking about like guys who talk, and it's like it doesn't end with you. Is it always been that part of your game to where you felt comfortable to be able to talk as much as you do?
I mean, yeah. It's a fun game. I got to make it more fun. People try to take the fun away from it. So yeah, I just bring the fun with it. Talk a lot of stuff to everybody. Coach, Scott Perry, anybody, man. So yeah, it's just fun. Bringing the fun to the game.
Great stuff from Malik Monk as always. And the kind of the breakdown, they had a team wearing the black jerseys, and then the gray team, the black team, they were the starters, okay? And the gray team, you had Malik at point, Keon and Neek as wings, Daquan Plowden at power forward, and Reynaud at center. So I want to take some time here, and you can go check out this interview. I think what has kind of snuck up on us, I saw a couple other Kings media members talking about this, and it snuck up on us. I mean, the guy goes 6'6", and he got signed. Like I said, I spent some time speaking with his agent during Summer League. Great guy. Obviously, I got that connection with my guy Daquan from him being a Philly native. And I think I completely missed the boat on Daquan Plowden as a possible backup to Keegan Murray. Now, Keegan goes what? 6'8", and he's clearly thicker than Daquan. But outside of that, we talked to Daquan about being that Philly tough type of ball player. He does go 6'6", and he can shoot the you-know-what out of the 3-ball. So he's kind of comparable to Keegan in what they can do. And I saw people a couple days ago saying this is what the rotation could look like, and they had Daquan Plowden in there as a, backup to Keegan Murray, and that went right over my head. Now, I know he can shoot it, right? He didn't feel like he got a ton of time at Summer League, so I think this has snuck up. And again, no mention of Isaac Jones the same way. So, Kyle, I'm wondering what happened and if they saw something with Daquan later. And the training camp just started, but if they saw something later in summer camp, or the guys, Doug Christie and Scott Perry had a discussion. They decided to bring Daquan in, and they decided they want to see what he can do at 4. He doesn't strike me as a traditional 4, but I guess neither is Keegan. And he, like I said, he looks a little thinner than Keegan, but this came out of left field to me. All I know is that he can definitely stretch the floor because he can shoot the basketball.
Yeah, I mean, the other tough part is that he's on the 2-way contract, so he can only play in 50 games, or he can only be activated for 50 games during the season unless they obviously convert it to a full NBA contract. But yeah, I mean, 6'6", 215, so like you kind of outlined, bit thicker, maybe can guard some 4s on defense. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of the question of, are they just trying anything?
Well,
really?
That literally sounds like Neat Clifford to me.
And let's see what Neat Clifford comes in at, because Daquan's listed at 6'6", 215. Neat Clifford comes in at 6'5". There's no weight on his basketball reference, but I'm sure we can find it.
Just
somewhere.
the eye test, and maybe it's because he is an inch taller, but just based on the eye test, Neek looks thicker to me. This is why I thought he would be able to play a little bit of 4. Everyone said no. Maybe it's because of the height aspect, but yeah, maybe they're willing to at least see if Daquan can hang, and what he doesn't have as far as size, he makes up for in grit and toughness. But like you said, it's very early.
His listed weight in college was 175.
Neat Clifford?
Neat Clifford. But again, that's college. I don't know if that's changed since then. Let's see if we go to ESPN. Okay, has him at 200 now. So he added some weight since college. So they've got him listed at 200.
So to be fair, and this is basketball reference, to be fair, Keegan, who plays the 4, is taller than Daquan Plowden, but basketball reference has Keegan at 6'8", 215. So even though Daquan is a little bit shorter, he's the same size. It doesn't look like that on the TV screen to me, and I saw him live too, but I'll take their word for it. And this is something that I'm very kind of excited to dive into, and I am wondering, it's probably just a different look, right? 2 different body types between all 3 of them, between Saric, Isaac Jones, and now Daquan Plowden.
Well, and even possibly Reynaud,
And Reynaud.
Yeah, I think they're probably going to play Reynaud as the 3rd-string center and not put him at the 4 much at all. But if his shot blocking is there, putting him alongside Sabonis, I still think is a very good idea.
That's the pipe dream that we've always wanted to see. That's our diet Lauri Markkanen, if you will, that we at least just wanted to see what it looked like with Domantas Sabonis. And obviously, Jaren Jackson, that's who we've been waiting to see with a Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, exactly. And maybe Reynaud can be that. I think it would be again, I don't know if Reynaud's ever going to be a starting player in the league. I mean, second-round picks rarely become those, like, $80 million impact players. But if he could just get on the floor at times with Sabonis, I think that's kind of the dream. Also, I do want to clarify one thing that I think people on Kings Twitter were getting confused about yesterday, is that the media was let in for, like, the last few minutes of the 45-minute scrimmage, and they saw Plowden and Reynaud playing with the Gray team. They were Gray team, but they were subbed in. So originally it was Saric and Eubanks playing with Clifford, Keon, and Malik Monk. They then made that sub. I think while Matt was there, they subbed in Devin Carter for the last 4 minutes, and he took over the point for Malik. So they're originally the second unit was with Saric and Eubanks, which is what we expect it'll be opening night.
Yeah.
But we don't expect, unless Saric is hitting 36% of his threes, it still feels like it's an open competition for that backup 4.
Did you have any info, just because you just rattled all that off, did you have any info on where Isaac Jones fell in that mix?
Cannot confirm nor deny. I don't know if Isaac played at all during the scrimmage.
Just checking.
I also don't know Terrence Davis played at all during the scrimmage either.
Yeah. Interesting stuff. And we have that Daquan Plowden interview, and we'll get that for you before the end of the show as well. When it comes to what this team is going to be able to do, and you see Malik Monk going after it with Dennis Schroeder. And Dennis Schroeder, I mean, I'll tell you this much. He is literally the guy, and I know this term gets overused, but he's literally the guy that is annoying as you know what. The guy that you'd hate to be on the other team, but you'd love to have on your team. That is Dennis Schroeder. When he was and especially when he was on the Lakers. When he was on the Lakers, I could not stand the dude. Right, I could not stand him when he was on the Lakers because he's going to be chirping, right? He can get a little floppy at times, but now that he's on your team, when it works in your favor, then you love it. So him going at it with Malik Monk, and Malik Monk, that's just the type of guy he is. I think it's great. I think the dog conversation that we've had, I don't know that it gets answered ever or this season, but the competitive nature that Doug Christie and the culture that they're trying to build, I do think will help that, right? Dennis Schroeder is not the biggest guy, neither is Malik Monk in the world, but they're not taking no mess from anybody. And I think that is something that a lot of people are going to respect on that roster. And I think that it's a vibe that everyone is going to gravitate to and feel the same way. If Dennis feels some type of way, or if Keegan kind of gets into it, and Keegan can kind of be, I know the morning show was joking with him, is he ever going to get a technical foul? But if he, is getting into it with somebody, Malik is going to be there, Dennis Schroeder is going to be there, and that comes from who they are as players and also who Doug Christie is as a player. And I do feel like that is an element because Doug Christie did play, not just that he played, because of the type of player that he was. I will say that is an element that the Kings did not have with the combination, and I promise I won't bring them up too much often for that much longer. The combination of Mike Brown and De'Aaron Fox did not have that. De'Aaron, he just wants to go home and play video games, right? He did not, I don't even know if he plays video games, but he is not tripping off that, right? He could get in that mood. Remember me Mad De'Aaron? I'm so glad we don't have to deal with that anymore.
Angry Fox.
Now we don't have to deal with that because these dudes wake up angry, right? I think a lot of these dudes, I think Dennis Schroeder wakes up angry. I think Malik Monk has woken up angry.
I really just be chilling for real.
And Keon, not so much, but this is just a different culture. And yesterday I went back and forth on Domantas Sabonis and what he said as far as Doug Christie and how much of this is a culture change and how much of this is just Domantas Sabonis liking Doug Christie more than Mike Brown. But I will concede that in this aspect of it, when it comes to dog and getting riled up, some of it is the personnel. I just don't think that is in De'Aaron Fox's nature. Some of it is also the coaching staff and the feeling that you get when Doug Christie is at the helm, because that's who he's always been. So we know that's going to translate to who he is as a coach. And it's been like that so far. We don't have any questions there. We're just curious as far as the offensive schemes and the kind of more X's and O's, where Mike Brown got real deep in the weeds on that. And Doug Christie has a great staff with Mike Woodson and Bobby Jackson and the crew to get them there in that regard. So we're just trying to see where that matches up with the motivational aspect, taking the guys on the roof to look at the beam. We know Doug Christie is solid there and getting them riled up. So the chippiness, the reputation that Doug Christie has as a dog, I do think, now again, not saying this is going to translate to a better season than what Vegas thinks the Kings are going to be, but it is something that you can be a little bit excited about because it isn't something that we've seen in the past.
Yeah, it's hard to kind of put those two together because ultimately the roster still is talented, but still trying to piece it together doesn't make a ton of sense because it's like, okay, so now Malik's going to be the backup point guard, and if that's the case, then is he going to be put in the best position to succeed? Are they going to put, for example, him and DeRozan on the floor at the same time, so DeRozan's going to handle the ball? Like, there's so many X's and O questions like that might answer themselves as time goes on.
There's plenty of time.
Yeah, but it's hard for me to get overly optimistic about that.
But you're
part
thinking
of it.
you're thinking more X's and O's. I'm just saying, as a culture, it does seem as much as I was kind of joking to Domantas Sabonis about it, it does seem different. It does seem different. And you know what? It's always going to be different with a new voice because everybody's excited about it, right? But it does feel like there is more of an emphasis on the stuff that Doug Christie says. Nobody's going to come in your house and bleep on your couch. Like, we're not going to let people do that. And everyone is starting to say, yeah, you can't bleep on our couch, right? And that just is a different vibe than what Mike Brown was bringing. I don't think Mike Brown wants anybody to bleep on his couch, but it's just not the same delivery.
Yeah, bleep could mean a couple different things here, so I'm just
saying.
Going to say that poop is what you're talking about.
It's bleep.
Insert whatever bleep you want, I guess.
That's right.
Anyways,
disrespect your couch.
I don't know if anyone was disrespecting the couch.
Shout out Dave Chappelle Show.
Anyways, the point though is, like, not only is it a new voice, it's also a completely new team. Like, if we think back to training camp last year, how many of the core, we'll call it 10, are the same from even last year? It's Sabonis, it's Keegan, it's Monk, it's Keon Ellis, it's DeRozan, and that was DeRozan's first training camp. Like, in a weird way, DeRozan's kind of the grizzled veteran in terms of, like, tenure on this team now, outside of the four Beam Team guys. So it's just different. It's a different collection of players too, right? The message is not going to fall on, I won't say deaf ears, but you haven't heard the same things over and over again, which Doug is going to hit that wall at some point where you can't just keep saying the same things over and over again. But that hasn't happened yet because this is the first time this group is together, and like half of the team is completely brand new from last training camp, along with a completely new coaching staff, a completely new general manager.
Yeah, and it could all go away, but this is what training camp is for. Like I said, we have the whole season to be pessimistic if things don't work out the way we hoped for the Kings. But right now, like I said, everybody is undefeated, right? Nobody's got to win, but nobody also has a loss. And when the season starts, we'll see what happens there. When it comes to the vets on the team, the Zach LaVines, and I just talked about Malik Monk and Dennis Schroeder, but the Zach LaVines and the DeMar DeRozans, and of course, Domantas Sabonis, who we're going to spend some time on Domantas Sabonis a little bit later in the show, they have to have a level of, for lack of a better term, pride as well. And DeMar, when we had that interview, he said, yeah, we don't really, like to look at the ratings and anything like that and how people have us selected, but it is motivation. And these guys might not necessarily be the loudest of the bunch, right? And Domantas Sabonis, he will get after you in a game, but Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan, they kind of have the same temperament. You're just not going to see them get after it. So they're going to have to do things a little bit differently and do the whole lead by example thing. You basically have three guys that are not necessarily going to be the most outspoken. That's Keegan Murray, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. But you make up for that with a Dennis Schroeder, with a Malik Monk, and I would say to some degree with Domantas Sabonis, and that's going to help. It's funny now that we're here at training camp, and I saw Matt George say this as he was sharing the Malik Monk soundbite. He basically said, I'm really glad that Malik Monk didn't get moved. And that's not to say that Malik Monk will never get moved or traded, but you get caught up in last season. There was so much stuff going on. You just get so caught up in the numbers and what works, what doesn't work. And it was a weird season for Malik. He's been very open about that. But then when you see him on the court doing his thing, you remember why it was hard to believe that his value wasn't where a lot of people thought it was, and how it was being viewed as weirdly a bad contract now. And you know what? Regardless of whatever the NBA thinks about Malik Monk, what he is to this team, I do feel is pretty darn important, because you have moved on from a De'Aaron Fox. You have moved on from a Mike Brown. You have moved on from some of these guys, and Malik Monk has always kind of been that straw that stirs the drink. And if they had moved on from him, or if they ended up going along with the sign and trade, I guess you're looking, where are you getting that from? I guess you're only getting that from Dennis Schroeder, who's new to the team. From the standpoint, and we'll see who Nick Clifford and Maxime Reynaud end up being. We just don't know enough about them, as well as Devin Carter. But from the standpoint of, you're not going to talk mess to my guys like that, and whoever's going to have that, have your back. Jay Crowder's gone now. Shout out Jay Crowder. Don't know where he is now, but, he's somewhere. He's somewhere. When it comes to Doug Christie.
Wearing the back brace.
He is warming his back somewhere right now. When it comes to Doug Christie and who he is on the court, who else is, if they had moved on from Malik Monk, who else do they really have like that as far as, that dog? And I remember having a conversation last season saying maybe the Kings don't need a dog. Maybe the dog can be the coach. And I don't necessarily disagree with that from a culture standpoint, but you need somebody that is going to say, hey, we don't mess with that guy. And even if he's not the biggest guy on the court, you still need something like that. And Malik Monk, it's weird as to whether or not he's a quote-unquote, he is a leader of this team. I don't know if he is the leader. I think that probably go to Domas or maybe even Keegan, just because of, especially, assuming Keegan gets that extension. But what Malik brings to the table, if they had moved on from Malik or if they did the sign and trade, I think the Kings would be missing that, and we might still have it anyway, but we'd have to have that yearly dog conversation.
I mean, if they moved on from Malik, though, we know what they were going to do. That's bring in Westbrook. That's the doggiest dog of all the dogs.
Yeah, I guess. And if they went, but that's why I said if they did it for Schroeder. If they did it for Schroeder, and I think Schroeder is a dog, but Malik has been here. He loves Sacramento. He wants to represent Sacramento. Westbrook is just a dog assassin. You just drop him. Like, wasn't that meme where someone said Westbrook if he played his grandma, he would play the same way. He'd be yelling at his grandma because that's just who he is.
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but Malik is more specific to Sacramento.
But maybe that's an example of not all dogs are created equal kind of situation.
Yeah.
Right? It's like sometimes it's better to have, I know we have the drops here somewhere. Sometimes it's better to have good dog than bad dog kind of situation.
Yeah.
So
at least you got something. And, following through with training camp and trying to be excited. I know there are a lot of people not terribly excited about the Kings. I'm just trying to give you reasons to look at this thing more positively while we can. Because if the season goes off the way a lot of people think it's going to go off, then fine. Right?
Those first 20 games,
right.
We're
going to know a lot in those first 20 games, and that's fine. But right now, it is a bit fun to identify the differences between last training camp and this training camp. Last training camp was more boring than this one. You had Devin Carter, you had one draft pick who didn't play because he was injured. You had DeMar DeRozan. That was it.
Yeah.
And Harrison Barnes was gone. So people didn't know how to wear a suit or do taxes. No, that was it.
I'm trying to think who else added to the team last year because there was no JaVale. They brought back Alex Len. Mm-hmm. Did they add anybody else going into last year? I guess Jordan McLaughlin.
You had, Sasha.
Well, he was gone.
Yeah, Sasha ran.
Yeah, there was the one day when Jalen McDaniels got waived.
Yeah.
Or whichever one, the bad McDaniels.
So, there's a lot more to at least talk about going into this season than last season.
Sure, it's a completely new team.
Yeah, so there you go.
One that most people don't think is very good.
On the other side, could the Kings defense take another leap as Sport Radar names 2 Kings players as high-level defenders when it comes to locking down the number 1 option? Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Kohl's Friends and Family Sale is so good, you'll want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Yep, the only thing you're picking up is deals. Now through Sunday, take an extra 20% off all your fall favorites. From soft throws to slow cookers, warm flannels to cozy cardigans. Plus, earn $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. So go ahead, let those notifications wait, because these prices won't. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 5th. See store or Kohls.com for details.
The deals are on now at the model year-end sales event at Balsam Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
Looking to own or lease?
Save on year-end models and drive a brand new Accord or Civic. Visit us today at FolsomLakeHonda.com, your one-stop Honda shop.
As a family-owned and operated dealership since 2009, customer service is our #1 priority. Our customers love doing business with us, and you will too.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Golf to Go is brought to you by the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Here's Frank LaRosa.
Born in 1892 to a socially prominent family, she was the consummate athlete, proficient in golf, tennis, marksmanship, swimming, and car racing. Many considered her the greatest horsewoman of the century. She was a pioneer in the field of golf course development with 3 world-class courses on her resume: the Women's National Golf and Tennis Club, Cypress Point, and Pasatiempo. Working for SFB Morse of Pebble Beach fame led to her second golf course development, which many consider to be the greatest golf course in the world, Cypress Point, where she developed a lifelong friendship and professional relationship with famed architect Alistair McKenzie. Pasatiempo in Santa Cruz was her third development, where she hosted the likes of Bobby Jones, Will Rogers, Babe Saharias, and more. Today, her place is alongside many others in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Marion Hollins, a visionary golf course architect and pioneer of the game. That's your Golf to Go. I'm Frank LaRosa.
Hey, it's Allen Stiles. Have an injury? Call downtown. DTLA Law Group, an injury law firm, has many happy clients in Sacramento and the surrounding areas who have called downtown. Get paid for your injuries from slip and falls or auto accidents. One of their most recent settlements was $1.5 million for a motorcycle accident. Have you had an auto accident? Call downtown. Text injury help to 40222. That's injury help to 40222. And visit them at calldowntown.com. Text charges may apply.
The Travel Guys, new on KHTK 1140 every Saturday at 11 a.m.
We'll make you a smarter traveler. Tips you can use on the road and at the airport, plus reports from top consumer advocates.
The Travel Guys, 11 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway. Saturday, October 11th. Pro Late models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew and hit Stockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Sacramento helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000 or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation on this beautiful, beautiful Friday. We're talking Sacramento Kings, and this is what Carmichael Dave had to say. This is from Sport Radar. The most matchups versus number 1 options. When a scoring ball handler from the opposing team got a touch in the front court last season, how often was one of these defenders matched up with him? Okay, so this is in order of first to last, and it looks like, doing some quick math here, they have 20. They have 20 on their list.
And just rough estimate, I think like 5 or 6 of these guys made all defense teams.
Right. And Dave says, of course the data is incomplete. How did they perform against those number 1s? But obviously, if they stunk, they wouldn't have the matchup. Kings have 2 guys that are bona fide defenders. Sabonis is good enough to not be a drag on it. So you build around those 3, and you got something. So on that list, Dyson Daniels comes in at number 1. All right. And you will find Keegan Murray at number 9. So Keegan Murray had the 9th most matchups against number 1 options. That's crazy.
Sacramento.
That's crazy. You have Dyson Daniels 1, Christian Brown 2, Tamani Kamara. And Christian Brown has facial hair now. I don't know if you saw the new picture, but it's pretty funny.
I do see it.
Yeah, Tamani Kamara at 3, Jaden McDaniels at 4, Lou Dort at 5, Mikal Bridges at 6. Stephon Castle at 7 is nuts. Jalen Wells at 8 is also nuts. Keegan Murray at 9, Andrew Nembhard at 10, You got Chris Dunn, 11, Amen Thompson, 12, Josh Green, what? There was just nobody else.
Yeah, that let me see what the Hornets' defensive rating was last year.
13, Max Christie at 14, Derrick Jones Jr. at 15, Dylan Brooks at 16, Bilal Coulibaly at 17, Davion Mitchell at 18, and Keon Ellis at 19, with OG Anunoby rounding out the top 20. So, we can take this thing in a couple directions, right? Obviously, we know that Keon and Keegan are two really good defenders, and we'll see what Nick Clifford, and you got Devin Carter as well, and we'll see what Nick Clifford can bring to the table. The direction that I want to go in is what Dave is saying, because essentially a lot of people will get on Dave as far as just being the blow it up, blow it up, blow it up. But Dave is actually not saying to blow it up. Dave is saying to keep Domantas Sabonis and build around Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, and Keon Ellis, which I think is an interesting thought process, because both of those guys, you could lose in free agency if you don't extend them. Obviously, Keegan, you're going to have a chance to match, but Keon, you will not. But let's just play the game and say you keep Keegan and Keon along with Sabonis. I don't mind what Dave is saying. I think the obvious issue here is how you fill in those gaps and what that looks like. So in Dave's world, right, you would have Domantas Sabonis as your starting center. Let's just go with the starting lineup, a perfect starting lineup in Dave's world, because essentially those are the guys he said build around. So I'm not putting words in Dave's mouth, but goodbye Zach LaVine and goodbye DeMar DeRozan. There's no other way to do this exercise.
Yes,
right?
Those are your two wings.
Yes. So Domantas Sabonis is your center, right? You have Keegan Murray, because here's what's crazy about what I'm about to say. You have Domantas Sabonis as your center. You have Keegan Murray as your 3 in a perfect world. And then you have Keon Ellis as your lockdown 2 guard. Okay, well, there's not enough scoring, I don't think. But two guys are really good defensively. And you have Domantas Sabonis, who's good enough. So what would you need in that lineup? On paper, you'd need a really good scoring. You need a really good scoring 3 or 4. And then you'd need another really good scoring, I guess, point guard.
Playmaking point guard.
So, I mean, the only difference between what Davis, how you would build around them and what the Kings have is replacing, I guess, DeMar DeRozan, right? Because Zach LaVine, he's expensive, but doesn't Zach LaVine kind of fit how a player would help a starting 3 like this, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's like replacing... I guess if I were to come up with like a realistic perfect situation, it would be a point guard like De'Aaron Fox, and then a big, I'll call it, like Derek Lively.
I guess to make my point more clear, it just feels like Dave is oversimplifying what the Kings need, because if you remove the names of the players and remove the contracts of the players, the Kings aren't very far off from having what they need to support these guys. So I guess my question to Dave would be, how would you support these 3? Because you have Zach LaVine. If we all maybe feel like DeMar DeRozan is the issue there, then, okay, are you going to go get Lauri Markkanen? You know what I mean? I guess it's easy to say to build around these 3. I'm just trying to figure out how you do that. Are you doing that through the draft? Because Domantas Sabonis, I don't think, has that type of time. I like what Dave is saying, and that Dave is being a little optimistic, saying to not blow it up. I'm just not really sure how you, quote unquote, build around them, because on paper, that's kind of what the Kings have besides a DeMar DeRozan, but Zach LaVine fits perfectly with this group. You have a point guard now, and Dennis Schroeder, a little bit different type of point guard than De'Aaron Fox. So they are supporting them. So I'm just kind of curious, how would you support them better, Dave?
Yeah, that's
the tough part about this. That's why you have to blow it up. That's why there is no, and I know I've tried to be a fan of the hybrid blow up. I think the hybrid blow up piece of it is Domantas Sabonis. And I just don't know how you do this and keep Domantas Sabonis and truly compete. What Dave is saying, and you're working around the fringes, I don't know how you're going to be able to build around those three and truly compete without you don't have a number one option. I guess is the simplest way to put this. You're building around you don't build around guys where you don't have a number one option.
Yeah, I guess that's the tough part, right? Is that Sabonis, if he were a 25-point-a-game scorer and doing all the things he does, rebounding and making his teammates better, we'd be like, yes, he is the third best center in the NBA, and we can build around that. But that's not the reality of what the Kings have right now. And by the way, they didn't need that when they had De'Aaron Fox, who averaged 37 points per game in a playoff series. You didn't need Sabonis to be that in order to be an excellent team. Now, maybe that would have gotten to a point where it's like, hey, Sabonis has got to take a leap on offense or something, but we never got to that point. Like, it worked well up until it didn't, and then they brought in DeMar DeRozan, and the whole thing blew up. So it worked well while it worked, but at this point, to your point, their best chance of landing another De'Aaron Fox is by drafting one.
Yeah, because, again, realistically, right, the Kings said that they weren't interested. It's not Kuminga. I can tell you that. Not with this crew. If he gets to where I guess people believe he could get to, maybe, but not right now.
Yeah, like if Kuminga became Julius Randle, that's probably the ceiling.
And
right?
again, Domantas Sabonis is closer to 30. He might even be 30 now. I know he's really close to 20. And they didn't want Trae Young. Right? Trae Young was not good enough defensively. They were not interested in Trae Young at the time. So I like that Dave is giving a different perspective to not blow it up. I'm just not sure how you actually compete with a plan like that, because ultimately you need a bona fide number one to compete, specifically in the West. This is the East. Maybe it's a little bit different, but in the West, okay, you have those three. How do you build around them? Game is on the line, and to even try to acquire some of the pieces that could help, that's also an issue. So you're waiting until DeMar DeRozan still has another year on the contract, and as much as the Kings seem to like him, who's not to say they don't keep DeMar?
Well, okay, so here's the couple scenarios I'm thinking of. First, can you do me a favor and run that tankathon for me real quick, just to play out both
we're behind on it anyway.
Yeah, it's okay. I just want to do it for the example. No? 8, 9?
Drop to 9.
9? Okay, but this works. Because either, again, in order to get a playmaking point guard like that, they would have to, A, win the lottery and get, like, the next Cade Cunningham, who, like, can be an immediate impact player.
Right.
Kind of like how the Spurs timeline sped up once they got Wemby, because Wemby was, like, immediately excellent. So you either get the next immediately excellent star, at which point you're playing for the next 8 years, or you use that lottery pick and whatever else you still have on the team to go after and probably overpay for a Darius Garland, a LaMelo Ball, a Trae Young, someone's disgruntled point guard that they don't want to pay $50 million to. That's kind of the other situation, which we talked about all summer.
And I'm not going to speak for him, but I also feel like if you said to Dave, do you want to do that? He'd say no.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd say no.
But but the other part is you can retool or rebuild. Let's even say rebuild. You can rebuild without trading Domantas Sabonis, because as we're seeing right now, you can put all the talent in the world around Sabonis, and they're still supposed to be the 12th seed this year. Yeah. So you could end up trying to compete and end up with the lottery picks that, if you develop them well, lead to, I'm not saying the next Kuminga, but Kuminga was picked with the 7th pick in the draft, and you've got the 9th pick in the draft. You can find another Kuminga with the 9th pick in the draft. You can find another OG Anunoby, potentially the next OG Anunoby at the top of the draft.
You know what, man? And again, I have never been a fan of and I know we went back and forth over the summer. We talked about the hybrid rebuild. I've never really been that keen on it. But if you are in the camp, and we know Ramsey, there are a lot of Ramsey who helps out for us. There are a lot of people that don't want to blow it up. And I was talking to Christopher Lodge just about the Kings fan base in general. Let's stick with this, because there is a world where I could see what Dave is attempting to do and how the Kings could at least be a playoff team, given the idea of building around the tough defenders and Domantas Sabonis. Don't move. I will reveal what that plan is when we get back. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement. Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Everybody knows that Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is the spot to get yourself a brand new car. That's why people are coming from all over. Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville. But they also have the best selection of pre-owned vehicles. All makes and models, every one of them top quality, hand-selected by General Manager Chuck Dean. Over 70 vehicles below $30,000, over 25 below $20,000. You can see that full lineup at SacSuperstore.com, and if you find a lower price somewhere else, they'll match it. And on top of that, the best car buying experience anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
on Sacktown Sports.
We will have later in the show, in about an hour, we will have our conversation with Isaac Jones. It was a good one. And we will have our conversation with Daquan Plowden. Another good one. Okay, so that's coming up at about 1:30. Isaac Jones is going to be about an hour, around 12:45. So I took the break. I'm continuing on with this conversation we're having, 916-339-1140. Carmichael Dave saw this Sport Radar chart, and it named the top 20 defenders against number one options, and they had the most opportunities, or they guarded them the most, right? And you had Keegan Murray, who was in the top 10, and you had Keon Ellis at 19. And Dave said, this is who you build around, these two and Domantas Sabonis. So we are living in a world right now that I don't necessarily want to live in, but I'm going to play the game here on a beautiful, beautiful Friday, where I'm going to the pumpkin patch later in West Sac, taking the kiddos. I'll tell you, traveling with 2 kids, I mean, it's a lot. It's just cut out an extra 25 minutes. And, one of them doesn't even walk or crawl yet. So there you go. But
the pooping potato.
That's right, the pooping potato. So, and she was good last night. So shout out to baby number 2. So it's a beautiful Friday, and we are living in a world where the Kings don't have to blow it up, and they do attempt to build around Domantas Sabonis, Keon Ellis, and Keegan Murray. Real quick from our guy Jeff on the chat. Jeff says, until the Kings balance the roster, they will be terrible. Imagine a football team going into the season with 1 receiver and 9 running backs. You would think they'd be awful. Essentially, that's what the Kings are doing. That is hilarious. Number one, it's not one receiver and 9 running backs, but it's probably about 3 receivers and 7 running backs. When you look at it, when you say it like that, Jeff, that's pretty good.
That's pretty funny. I like the way that he's thinking about this.
That's pretty good, Jeff. So here is an approach, and Kyle, you alluded to it in the prior segment, but here is the approach that is a way the Kings could survive, right? And I think be legitimate playoff contenders. And there are a couple different combinations of this. If the Grizzlies don't figure it out, because I just refuse to believe in the Grizzlies, you could go the Ja Morant route. Now, we can talk. Now, you're giving up your future, which is why I never would want to do this. But we're talking about the Kings control all their picks right now. We're talking about using picks, digging into what they have, and truly believing in Keon, Keegan, and Domantas Sabonis, right? So you are using your picks, you are using your assets, and maybe you're keeping Zach LaVine. Maybe you extend him out and get a lower AAV, but you are getting some combination of you're getting Ja Morant, right? Let's say you add in your other two guys. You have Keegan, Keon, Domantas Sabonis, Ja Morant, and PJ Washington. That team can make the playoffs. Let's not worry about the bench right now. But I believe that starting 5 can make the playoffs. Okay? Another version of that combination, as Kyle mentioned, I know they didn't like Trae Young, but Trae Young, you give up the picks, you go get Jaren Jackson Jr. If the Grizzlies blow it up, I'm saying. And then you would have Trae Young, Jaren Jackson Jr., Keon, who can obviously help out Trae Young, and obviously what Trae Young does offensively, Keegan and Domantas Sabonis, that team can make the playoffs.
Sure, and you're compromising your future in order to do that, yes.
And that's the kicker to me. In order to do what Dave is alluding to them doing, and I know Dave doesn't, this is just one tweet that we're really dissecting here on a Friday. I know Dave has thoughts on whether they should keep their current roster or blow it up, but Dave is saying, I want to build around these guys. To me, this is the only realistic way to do that. If you're double dutching and you're half in, half out, which is kind of what the Kings have been doing, you're not going to be good enough in the West. You have to pay the price to be good enough to compete. And these are combinations. And like you said, Kyle, Darius Garland and PJ Washington, those teams, those starting 5s will, I believe, will get you in the playoffs. I don't think it wins you a championship, but I don't think that's what we're talking about. So are you willing to give up your future to have a legitimate team to get in the playoffs? But that's the only way I see Dave's idea coming to fruition, and it's going to cost you greatly.
And this is just about getting into the playoff, because the underlying point to all of this is you cannot compete for a title in the NBA unless you have one of the 15 to 20 best players in the sport.
Right.
And honestly, at this point, like, whatever you think of Ja Morant or whatever you think of Jaren Jackson Jr., like, their best shot at that is whatever is left of Sabonis' prime, right? We've seen Sabonis be a top 15 player in the NBA. He's made All-NBA multiple times on the Kings. So your best shot is for him to get back to not just where he was before, injuries last year and the turmoil and everything else, back to where he was when De'Aaron was on the team, but to also then not make the leap that Karl Anthony Towns did, where he's, third team All-NBA and whatever else, but somewhere along the line improve his game in a way that we haven't seen up to this point in his career, which is fine if it never happens. If he just gets back to being All-NBA at 31 years old, that is a huge success for the Sacramento Kings, but they're also not going to be able to, we're not talking about a top 4 seed or winning more than just one playoff series.
And that is why I have always not wanted to do this, because whatever you think the best version of those names I just said, and I just said guys that might be available, whatever you think the best version of this is, it's probably just give them your next 5 12 first-round picks and just go get Ja Morant and Jaren Jackson, that might be the best version of this. Whatever you think it is, you're probably still looking at a 5 seed. And I know in Sacramento, everybody would like to get to the playoffs, but I don't know if it's worth giving up your future. And there's some people that think, well, Allen, they're going to mess up their future anyway. That's what they always do. They don't take Luka. They trade Tyrese Halliburton. This is what they do. So let's get proven guys. You can feel like that. How I am going about it is I'd rather keep the picks and see, because your only argument is this team just getting really hot, Ja Morant turning into Ja Morant of now we're looking at about 5 years ago, right? A while ago, and Jaren Jackson Jr. being Jaren Jackson Jr., you still need a really good bench, and you're still not going to be picked by anybody. Now, I think the best version of that, I think we're looking at, you could scratch a 4 seed with if you added Jaren Jackson Jr. and Ja Morant is playing at that level, you could scratch a 4 seed. I think.
Oh, with Sabonis for
sure. With Sabonis, you could scratch a 4 seed
for sure.
So but again,
you'd have 3 All-Stars.
You'd have 3 All-Stars, and you'd have no first-round picks until. Well, I know Baby Rain is in San Antonio now, so whoever Sabonis' youngest
until
kid,
Keegan's first child is in high school.
Seriously, and and shout out Keegan, recently married. So that's what you would give up. But I don't hate on any Kings fan that would be willing to do it. I don't know that you should, but either if they did do it, that would make for a very exciting time here on the Allen Stiles Show.
So let me make this point here when I say how are the Kings going to get back to contention? Let's assume you have to get an all-star caliber player in addition to Sabonis in order to compete for, let's just say, to be a playoff team every year, like going into the season saying we will make the playoffs, right? If we have to get another all-star caliber player, their best chance of doing that is through the draft, because their other options are overpay for one because you're Sacramento, or be able to get one on the cheap, like Trae Young's contract expiring with the Hawks. And no team is like, every team is like, we don't want Trae Young. And the Kings are like, we'll pay Trae Young $200 million over 4 years.
Sure.
Yeah, some situation like that where they fall into it. They get lucky.
Yeah.
Versus the draft, every year there's 2 all-stars that get drafted every year. So as long as you keep getting shots at the board, that's, if we say an average of 2, 4, 6, 8 different chances at landing the next all-star level player. I mean, some years there's 3 or 4, but most years there's an average of about 2, and sometimes you get him at pick 12. Sometimes you get him at pick 11. You don't even have to tank in order to get him.
Yeah.
The Kings got Tyrese Halliburton with the 12th pick in the draft. So, yeah, their best chance of getting another all-star is drafting a young one, but then, to your point, the timelines don't make sense. If you're trying to play the timeline game, it's makes more sense to try and go after another current all-star.
And the only thing about the Kuminga stuff was maybe he takes a leap, because we have Domantas Sabonis for 3 more years. He could take the leap this season, and then next season we have a bona fide, I don't know if he would be an all-star next season, but that would be the thought process. He's 23 years old. He's a budding star to go along with Domantas Sabonis. He doesn't play anything like Keegan Murray, so Keegan Murray could also take a leap, and now your timeline kind of matches up a little bit. So I think that was the thought process in going after Kuminga. But you go any younger than that, and, well, typically they draft 25-year-olds, so that might not be a problem. But if they were to draft a 19 or 20-year-old, that timing, and it's not a number 1 pick like a Cooper Flagg, that timing is not going to match up with Domantas Sabonis.
Well, let's just even look at the Kuminga draft class, right? It was Cade Cunningham at the top. It was Jalen Green, who didn't turn out to be a star, but was still, he's a $35 million. He scored 24 points per game on the 2 seed last year. It's Scotty Barnes. It's Evan Mobley, who just won Defensive Player of the Year, right? Like, within 4 years, you had guys who are Defensive Player of the Years, all-stars. Like, if you get the next Evan Mobley or the next Cade Cunningham in the draft, that changes your fortunes almost overnight.
But that still and you know, it's funny, that still takes a little bit of time if you're going off of the Domantas Sabonis timeline. Now, maybe you get a guy like that, and Domantas Sabonis says, I'm hunkering down, I love Napa, and I'm just not going to leave, right? Maybe that's the approach if you get one of these guys, and the timeline would then match up because Domantas Sabonis is not leaving, and I don't think he's leaving his prime.
Well, there's also the other part of it, which is Sabonis still playing at this level, because maybe by the end of his next contract, maybe he's not a max player, but he's a $35 million a year player who could be a 2 or a 3 on a really good team.
On the other side, we kick off the 12 o'clock hour with more Domantas Sabonis talk. Should we be prepared for a career season from Domas? Also, there is a new note on Jonathan Kuminga and the trade conversation. How much say does he have? Because last time I checked, he gave that up for them dollars. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Ma, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotions. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotions, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. That's why they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a crazy fast 5G network for just $25 a month. And if you're a business owner, you could really save a fortune. Dial pound 250, say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Everyone has a past, but what happens if you've made mistakes and made good on that past, but it keeps following you? Are you looking for an attorney to erase past records and restore your rights? Maybe even restore your gun rights? Do you need a reputable criminal defense attorney who knows even good people make bad mistakes? Well, the attorneys at Gonzalez Law Office are here to help. Find Gonzalez Law Office online at saclegaldefense.com or call them at 916-304-9187. We don't settle for less, and neither should you.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting your focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Mark and Tom, the travel guys with you, brought to you by Sports Leisure Vacations. Time for our weekly travel tip. And with it, here's Mark Hoffman.
So you don't want to pay the airline $30 or $40 to check your bag. I get that totally. So you pack a slightly oversized carry-on or even a full-size bag and bring it to the gate. Easy peasy. Now you just store it in the overhead, and when the plane lands at your destination, no baggage claim wait for you. You're zapping out of the airport. Except more and more people are doing the same thing. If you're flying on the cheap and have a high-numbered boarding group, the airline staff may start checking bags because of a lack of overhead space. On most airlines, there won't be a charge, but now you may have to go to the baggage claim anyway, unless the airline brings gate checks to the jetway. Most important thing, pack your carry-on like it's going to go in the belly of the plane, because it might. Nothing too fragile or breakable inside. Very important.
More tips to make you a smarter traveler every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here in Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey man, gaining weight, dragging throughout the day, losing your drive? It could be your testosterone. The team at Revive Men's Health Sacramento gets men back on track with the energy and drive they've been missing. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations, and witness to hundreds of success stories.
I've seen guys come in worn out, discouraged, and just not themselves. A few months into treatment, they're standing taller, speaking with more confidence. It's like watching someone come back to life, like a light switch gets turned back on. And the spouse says, thank you, I really have my partner back, better than before. That's the moment it all clicks for me, and that's why I do what I do.
Since 2011, Revive Men's Health has helped more than 120,000 men regain their energy and drive. Start your story today with an in-clinic visit or a secure video appointment. Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000. Or schedule anytime at revivemenshealth.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacramento's official home of the 49ers.
San Francisco!
Sacktown Sports, 1140. Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/Sacktown Sports 1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
2 hours down, 2 to go. And Kyle, real quick, I just saw this during the break. You and Whitey, the Padres fans. Obviously, Leo DeVries, who is now with the A's, who's a stud, right? The number 3 prospect in all of baseball.
18-year-old, yeah.
18-year-old shortstop. The dude can definitely swing it. He doesn't look, he looks like a grown man, by the way, too. But I saw somebody say the Padres gave up the number 3 prospect in baseball for one playoff win. And then, do you want to speak to that? And also the Padres trying to fight the umps?
Padres fight the umps. I can't laugh at. So this is my sports take that I have stuck with for about 8 or 9 years now. Ever since that, remember that Rams-Saints NFC Championship game?
Yes.
After that, I said I will never be the refs screwed us guy ever again. So the umpire missing the clear call on Xander Bogaerts, and then the Padres like trying to fight him as he was walking into the umpire's box. Look, the umpires take and the umpires give.
That's why ABS is going to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Next season.
It's honestly a badge of honor that we will be the last ones to get screwed.
That's the last scene of prior to ABS, the Padres trying to fight the umps.
This is the, you know that meme like at the Heat NBA Finals where there's one guy in a Steph Curry jersey? This is our version of that. It's like, don't worry, the Padres have the next 6 World Series. They just need the umps to be able to challenge calls. But to the point about DeVries and Miller, I made this point, like, if a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is trading Paul Skeens, this is like an 8 in what the Padres did. Because it's not that they did this for one playoff win. They've got Mason Miller, who is already the best closer in baseball, potentially, who just threw 104, the fastest pitch ever in the history of playoff baseball. They've got that dude for 4 years cheap. Like, controlled contract, 4 years cheap. Yeah. They essentially traded DeVries, who could be he could be Francisco Lindor, totally fair. Like, he could be awesome and they could lose the trade. But they got prime Craig Kimbrell at 4 years on arbitration, which I think was a great trade by the Padres, even if they lose out on Leo DeVries. But I will say, they're probably not gonna. This was their best chance to win a World Series. Last year and this year was their best chance because their owner died and they're gonna cut payroll and they're probably gonna be the Giants for the next few years.
Okay, well, don't be disrespectful. I just saw that and I figured you want to speak on it. Then I remembered the scene of them
fighting literally.
And why do the umps got to walk down right by the dugout? That's just, come on, man. It's $1 billion industry. They need a different exit. This is where you need Sutter Health Park, where the umps can leave out the outfield and they don't have to see. They can just run out the outfield.
But the players are going out the outfield too.
And they'd be chasing them down. That might be worse. So I had to give you a little bit of time on that one.
Like, people who haven't seen the video, it's literally
insane.
Like, I'm trying to think of what a good example. It's like in European soccer where like the managers are like right there and the players or the fans are like hounding them. Like, they are hounding the umpires.
Those fines are going to be hefty. They're going to be hefty.
Bogaerts, Machado, like, it was the whole team just going at him.
I can't wait to talk to Whitey Gleason about that. All right, we have some Domas info that we want to get to for you as far as whether or not we should be prepared for him to have a career season. But I did want to share this update. This is from Anthony Slater, and we also have some sound from Sam Amick as far as the Kings showing patience on the Jonathan Kuminga value conversation. But this is what Anthony Slater had to say about Jonathan Kuminga. Quote, I have been hearing he does not want to be traded midseason, which is understandable. I think he wanted the new destination, but wanted the new destination with fresh with a training camp and all that, because no player really likes to be traded mid-season. That's all fine and good, but yeah, you signed the contract, so you don't get a say. And I don't know if this is as much of a story as people are making it out to be, because, and Anthony says it right there, but everybody ignores, the second half of quotes these days. Nobody likes being traded during midseason, right? Nobody likes trade. I mean, I think the only difference here is the belief was Jonathan Kuminga hated the Warriors and specifically Steve Kerr so much that he wanted to go as soon as January 15th or whenever hits, get me the heck out of here. I don't want to be in this building. I can't stand Chase Center. I hate the color blue. I hate the color gold or yellow. I don't want to see anybody. I don't want to see the mascot. I think that was how a lot of people thought it was. And Kuminga had his press conference and he said, I'm here now. Someone said, you want to be here long term? He said, I'm here now, and he did say more than that. He said, which says that, this is somewhere that I guess I'm willing to be. I'm paraphrasing here, but it wasn't, I want to be here for a very long time. He did not say that. And he did say, quote, I'm here now. So I think he's trying to get through this season and go from there. People don't like being traded mid-season. He doesn't have a say, but I don't know if this is the only story here that makes this, I guess, any bit of a headline is that a lot of people thought, I hate the Warriors so much, I don't want to be in that building. Get me out of here immediately. And he might still feel like that, but he would rather, now that he's going to be here and he signed the contract, he wants to get through the season and maybe get traded as he heads into next season if the Warriors, they trade him, pick up the contract, whatever it is. But I just wanted to kind of give an update there as it pertains to the Kings. And Kyle, we have that Sam Amick sound on the Kings showing patience in not relenting on the Kuminga value. Here it is.
Just too many variables, really. That's the reason he's not on the Kings. And I don't believe that they relented on the first-round draft pick requests or considerations in terms of, taking off those protections. And I chatted about this yesterday with someone and was saying that, I know it's not really fulfilling for the fans to not get the guy that you're going for and you don't get that dopamine hit, so to speak. But, it does show, I think, some prudence and some patience and a lack of kind of impulse that has dogged this team in the past. And so they can take another run at him in January and February. He's eligible to be traded in mid-January. Almost certainly is going to be traded. And so we'll see what happens down the road.
Yeah, I do wonder, and great stuff from Sam Amick as always, I do wonder if some of this is, I don't know if spin is the right word, but yeah, what does it really help from Jonathan Kuminga saying, I don't want to be traded mid-season? Is he trying to make things, because I don't think he's, and this is just, Anthony Slater reporting it, but he's not saying it as if I want to see if things can work in Golden State. He's more so saying it because people don't like getting traded mid-season. On the other side, though, if that was the understanding and Sham's writing with the intention of ripping up that contract or whatever the heck he said, yeah, it's just kind of, it's interesting that obviously Slater got this information from someone, and we know his agent is unique. I don't know what it serves to tell people that he does not want to be moved during the season, because isn't that what do you want, Jonathan Kuminga?
Well, he wanted to not be on the Warriors.
Well, but now that he is, in my opinion, the next best thing is to get out as soon as possible.
Yeah, I guess I kind of look at it as it's a can't-lose situation for Kuminga now. Either you make it to the end of the season, and then you can potentially be a free agent if the contract gets ripped up, or you get traded, and we can finally release you from your shackles of Golden State, and it's like, oh, I'm finally gone.
But I think that second one was the most obvious one. So going back to the first option, is this coming out because deep down he wants to stay? Deep down, maybe his number one option is not getting traded. His number one option, obviously, and the more I say it, the more it sounds clear and obvious to me, the reason he doesn't want to get traded midseason is because he doesn't have any control as to where he goes. He'd rather just get through the season. The Warriors, with the intention of ripping it up or restructuring, either it's a restructure and the Warriors work with him to get somewhere, or they do, in fact, rip it up and he's a free agent. That's why he doesn't want to be moved, because if he gets traded, and I hate to keep throwing the Pelicans under the bus, but if he gets traded to the Pelicans and he doesn't want to go to the maybe he does. Maybe he likes jambalaya. Got to be careful. Zion does look good, though. If he gets traded to the Pelicans or somewhere he doesn't want to be, and then they extend him, he never wanted to give up that player control, and he did, and he didn't want it that much because he could have had it with the qualifying offer. So the next best thing is to get through the season and pray that the Warriors don't find a trade suitor, and also pray that the Warriors just decide to rip up the contract and say all's well that ends well.
Yeah, but he gave that up for essentially the guarantee of $48 million.
Yes.
Or 48 and a half or whatever it is, which is fine because, again, we're not talking...
Well, not guaranteed 48.
Yeah, but like...
half of that.
Either he'll hit free agency, which is what he wants,
Yes.
or he'll get $26 million, which will lighten the burden of having to...
Go to New Orleans.
Which, like, for the New Orleans example, right, if he gets traded at the deadline, New Orleans or any team that's getting him has a year and a half to evaluate him before he hits unrestricted free agency. Mm-hmm. And I will say teams have given up have traded for better players than Kuminga with less commitment, i.e. Kawhi Leonard, i.e. Anthony Davis. Like, teams have made these trades before for players not as good as Kuminga. So if you're a team like the Pelicans or the Wizards or whoever's going to try and trade for Kuminga, year and a half might be enough time to figure out what you got or convince him that this is a place that he's going to want to stay. Heck, even the Kings contract offer they gave to him was 2 years with a player option for the third. So even the Kings were only making a 2-year commitment to Kuminga, and he was willing to come here sight unseen. So I think the new contract is not a deterrent for teams to trade for Kuminga if they want Kuminga.
No, I don't think it is either. He's just saying I would rather have my player control. I just don't see him getting it. Right? It's all fine and good that Anthony Slater is saying that, but the Warriors, so much has gone on. I don't see the Warriors tearing up that. If anything, they will pick up. Why wouldn't they just pick up the option and then try to trade him the next season? Why wouldn't they just do that?
Yeah.
Why would they just let him walk?
No, they're not going to. I will say this right now. I am 97% certain Jonathan Kuminga will not hit unrestricted free agency in 2026, because the Warriors will not just be like, well, we do want to rip up the contract, but we don't have a deal, so we're just going to decline it. And they're not going to do that. They're either going to have a trade, they're going to have a new contract ready, or they're just going to pick up the team option. Because 26, unless he gets injured, $26 million is not the biggest deal, which, by the way, was interesting because when Aaron Turner, his agent, was doing the media tour, one of the things he said on that Windhorst Hoop Collective that I thought was interesting is, like, the thing I've been telling JK is the most important thing is to be healthy come summer of 2027.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, is be healthy when you reach true unrestricted free agency in summer of 2027, because then is his chance to get his really, really big contract. I mean, $48 million is not chump change, but the really big deal.
Yeah, and whatever team, whether that's the Kings or whoever, decides to pay for that. All right, there is your Kuminga update. They're going to get fewer and farther between until we get to January. And if the Kings still seem to be interested, maybe they're not. Maybe the Kings are the 4 seed. right? And they're rocking and rolling, and they're not thinking about Jonathan Kuminga. You never know. As we transition now to Domantas Sabonis, I should have said what we do know is that Domantas Sabonis, being one of the best big men in the game.
Senor Segway strikes again.
I had to find it. First week back.
Yeah, it's first Friday back.
That's right. That's right. Should we be prepared for a Domantas Sabonis career season? So all I know about humans is that people tend to do their best work when two things are happening. Number one, they are happy. And number two, they have something to prove, right? A chip on their shoulder. Domantas Sabonis going into the 2025-2026 season will have both. Domantas Sabonis seems very happy right now. He's got his point guard. He's got his coach. He's got a team that all seems to be on the same page. They've worked out a lot together. He's had the young guys over to his house. They feel like the camaraderie is at an all-time high. The vibes, we didn't know how off the vibes were last season. We found out after the fact, but that's not where the Kings are at right now. They are in a much better place. The second part of it, we named off earlier this week 6 big men that the rest of the NBA have put ahead of Domantas Sabonis. I think he was he was in the 30s. I think he was 34 on the ESPN Top 100 list. There are guys, and they're including value and contract. So Zubac is getting a big boost because he's not getting paid nearly what Domantas Sabonis is getting paid. And each and every day, it seems like there is a new big man that the basketball world, even in just the Western Conference, putting ahead of Domantas Sabonis. And Domantas Sabonis, he is a heck of a competitor. I'll never forget when the Pistons still stunk. This was 2 seasons ago, and the Kings came out flat. And Domantas Sabonis got an and one, and he just let out the most primal yell, scream you've ever heard. And the Kings went on to win that basketball game. So he's got that fire to him. And you got to think the same way DeMar DeRozan said to us in that interview that they do see this stuff and that they are using it as motivation. Domantas Sabonis specifically, he's always been a bit misunderstood as a basketball player. He does Jokic stuff, but he's not as good as Jokic. He's better than these guys and puts up better numbers, but does it translate to winning? But you don't ask yourself if Zubac and what he does translates to winning. He also gets to play with Kawhi Leonard and James Harden. And he's getting paid less than Domantas Sabonis, so it gets looked at differently. But even before Domantas Sabonis was making the big money, this has always been a thing specifically with Domantas Sabonis. And as he is upping his three-point percentage and the amount of threes that he takes, he still says he wants to take about 2 a game. That's what he said talking to Carmichael Dave and Jason Ross. With everything you put into, we were just talking about jambalaya, with everything put into that pot, that gumbo pot, as Henry Turner said earlier this week, making up that roux. You get a little bit of chip on the shoulder. You get a little bit of, I got my guy as coach. You got a little bit of, I want to prove myself. You got a little bit of, my family's continuing to grow. I'm just in a great headspace right now. And you mix all that stuff up into a roux. Could we be looking at a career year, a career season for Domas? Because it was, to his standards, a bit of I forgot that in the roux, a bit of a down season last season. Dealt with some nicks and bruises, some injuries there. Other guys, Zubac, oh my goodness, Şengün, oh my goodness, all this stuff, right? And you just saw Şengün in Eurobasket. Şengün is talking trash to people. He's the hot name. He's the all-star. You put all this into a roux, and could we get a career season for Domantas Sabonis? Also, along with the idea of being happy because you got your guy as far as the coach is concerned, the offense that they are running, more DHOs where he feels more comfortable. Like I said, he's got his point guard, didn't have that second half of the season. Could we be in store for a career season for Domantas Sabonis? And if that's the case, again, these are the types of things that Vegas is not really counting on. They're just taking everybody's averages, putting that into their system and saying, okay, that's 34.5 wins. If the Kings are going to buck that trend and surprise some people the same way the Pistons just did it, somebody's going to have to take a leap. Not somebody, multiple players are going to have to take leaps. And if it's not the verbiage of taking a leap, just have really good seasons. And if that is going to happen for the Kings, pretty sure Domantas Sabonis is going to have to be one of those players. He definitely can't have a down season, but it would be even better if he takes one of those kind of vintage seasons that he's had, Beam Team, and the year after that, and he's able to even improve on that if the Kings are going to do anything this season.
So all of those things that you just outlined, being happy, having a chip on your shoulder, you've got your guy. It feels like we're moving in a direction that more aligns with your vision. I'm sure he didn't envision Zach LaVine and DeMar DeRozan being his running mates, but
maybe not. Nope.
More in line with your vision of what the team is going to be. Those to me all sound like not like conditions for a breakout season, but conditions of this is your franchise now, right? It was always Fox and him, and Fox was the face of the franchise, but he was probably the best player. There's no questions anymore. It is your franchise. You're the best player. It is your team, Domantas Sabonis. And now you go out and play under circumstances that are more aligned with what you wanted. Him and Doug are talking every day about what their vision is. Him and Doug have been working together for
training camp stuff.
Yeah, exactly. His entire time in Sacramento, Doug's been his personal coach all the way on down. So if there's a shared vision that is more aligned with what you believe you are not bringing to but what you envision a good situation looking, then yes, it would make sense that then, okay, now you go out and perform better than you've ever been before because that's what's required of you. I'm not saying it's going to happen or not, but it is interesting looking at everything being not in alignment, but closer to giving you the keys to the franchise than they probably ever did with De'Aaron Fox.
And to be honest, that's a good point. And they had the whole thing with Tyrese Halliburton. It was different for De'Aaron, and we wish him the best. And I think it does align when you have 3 years left, right? Basically, hey, Domas, you got 2 years. It's your world for 2 years. If it doesn't work out, you'll have 1 year left on your deal. You'll probably be, 31 at that point, and you'll go on to wherever your next stop is.
Just don't ask us to trade for a wing.
That's right.
Like De'Aaron did.
No, don't do that, or you got to go now.
Yeah, we're going to trade you before we get a wing.
But that seems like the plan, right? Everyone's talking about that too. And, it is interesting because this offseason just ended. I think it's next offseason, not this upcoming one, but the one after that, where DeMar would fully be off the books. Zach LaVine would fully be off the books unless they extend him and bring down that the average annual salary. But those guys would fully be off the books, and you would have had 2 years, and that kind of matches up here, right? You would have had 2 years of Domantas Sabonis world. And this is what Sean Cunningham said of KCRA when we had him on. This all aligns with 2 years. You give Doug 2 years, right? And I'm not saying that's what they're doing, but everybody's essentially, think about it like this. Dennis Schroeder, 2 years, 3 years, that third year is an option. So, and I know they were trying to move off from Malik, but I believe Malik has 3 years left as well. Once you get to that 1 year and you're an expiring contract, you get looked at a lot differently. So these next 2 years, and it's a great point, Kyle, these next 2 years, it's the Domantas Sabonis show. And I would assume Scott Perry, might work around the fringes, but you got young talent you're developing. You got your vets. They're under contract. The value is the value. Maybe somebody gets spicy and goes after Zach LaVine next season when he is expiring. Still a lot of money, but you never know. But we're hunkering down. We got 2 years of this. And look, this might, if you're driving around, you might say this sounds brutal. This is just the reality. And this is, like I said, Sean Cunningham, one of the best in the game, covering the Kings. This is what kind of the plan has always been, or has been the writing on the wall, because all these guys, DeMar would be done after. Does DeMar have one more year? Yeah, DeMar has 1 more year.
It's this year, and then it's partially guaranteed next year.
So it's this, same idea. So all of them are looking at this year, and then after next season, hey, collectively, what are we doing? does not sound like a fun thing.
Which also, DeMar's probably your best trade chip in order to upgrade the roster.
Maybe DeMar doesn't make it, right? And maybe they come to an agreement with the Heat. Maybe the Heat, they make the deal for they do give the Warriors back Andrew Wiggins. They get Kuminga. They need, I don't know. Yeah, that would be kind of tough.
Yeah, let's
some
not
spacing there. But DeMar DeRozan is maybe doesn't make the rest of the way. But you're looking at 2 years, and then from there, all right, you got one more year, Domas. What are we doing? Zach LaVine is off the books. Malik Monk, you got one more year. What are we doing?
From what we understand, Schroeder's deal is like not guaranteed for the third year.
So it doesn't look. You might be driving around thinking, I don't want 2 more years of this. Maybe you won't get 2 more years of this. Maybe the whole thing blows up this upcoming season. But that is the longer version of the Domantas Sabonis-led Sacramento Kings. But this is supposed to be a positive segment here, and I do think he could have a career year. The question is, as everybody tries to say his numbers are empty calories, will it translate to wins? All right. It's been far too long since we've had a trade conversation. Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report suggests a trade that will save the Houston Rockets, but I also wonder if you are Eric Pincus, what his definition of point guard is. Don't move. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross.
What she has yet to lose since she's gone there. I'm not saying anything. Broke into the top 25 this week. UCLA having a rough year. Maybe this year. Come on over to the. All right, Jason left. Hopefully he'll be back for 3 for. Oh my God! He's got the double hand wave.
You can listen to the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 1140 a.m. YouTube or the Sacktown Sports app.
Progressive's Teen Driver discount could lower the cost of insurance for your teenager and save you some money. And then you can still spend money on them. Because just when you think you have a grasp on spending, new sneakers. And then it's money for a school field trip. And of course, spending money. Oh yeah, and a new phone to replace the one they dropped in the toilet. Oh, don't remind me. So just get Progressive's Teen Driver discount. And then you can continue to spend money on them. Endlessly. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Discount not available in all states and subject to terms and conditions.
I'm Scott Hansen, host of NFL Red Zone. Lowe's knows Sundays are for football. That's why we're here to help you get your next DIY project done, even when the clock isn't on your side. Whether that's a new Filtrete filter or Bosch and Cobalt power tools, Lowe's has everything you need to feel like the MVP of DIY. So get it done and earn your Sunday. Shop now, in-store and online. Lowe's, official partner of the NFL.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
The excitement of the game is here, and so are the model year-end savings at Stockton Honda, the best Honda dealer in Northern California. Score big with low payments, more for your trade, and a huge selection. Don't wait. The clock is ticking at StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Based on the results of the study, recognized on June 18, 2025, USA Today's list of California's top car dealers 2025.
Allen Stiles
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140.
on Sacktown Sports.
Now, this is a fun one when it comes to proposed trades, things that could happen. This is from Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report. We were just talking about Keon Ellis and who I would be willing to move him for. I did say it would be for the future, right? Somebody younger than Keon Ellis, probably a draft pick, right? There are different names out there, though, that are intriguing. And the big trade chatter that's been going on in Houston with Fred VanVleet getting injured is that obviously they need another guard out there. So Eric Pincus has said this could be the trade that, quote, saves the Rockets' season. The Rockets' best realistic option would be to go after Keon Ellis from Sacramento. Obviously, the two-way guard that we know and love shot 43.3% from three last season, and they're looking at him as a strong fit in Houston's defensive system. Houston is already crazy defensively, right? And obviously, Keon shooting the three ball, that 3-and-D guy, I think that would be lovely because Reed Shepherd is not going to be looked at as a dog defensively. Not terribly undersized, but also not his calling card. Here's the proposed trade package. The Kings would receive Tari Eason and a second-round pick. And in return, they would have the use of a trade exception. Houston would also leverage its Cam Whitmore trade exception to make the numbers work. Houston, after the deal, would still be $4.6 million below the first apron, keeping them legal under salary rules. Meanwhile, Sacramento remains under the luxury tax threshold. So obviously, the Kings would be giving up Keon Ellis, and the Kings would be receiving Tari Eason. So the full trade would be Keon Ellis, 2026, Charlotte second rounder, and the $5.7 million trade exception. The Kings would get Tari Eason, $2.3 million trade exception as well. So that is an interesting one, I will say. All right, because Tari Eason is, wait for it, he is younger than Keon Ellis, so that fits my rule.
And he plays, wait for it, power forward.
Right. That's right. He's 24 years old. He's 6'8", and like you were saying, Kyle, if the Kings or if the Rockets try to pay Tari, it's going to put them in a weird financial situation.
They're going to be right at that second apron.
Mm-hmm. Man, Kyle, this is a tough one, but it does fit the rules and it does fit my personal timeline. I'd probably do it. I'd probably do it specifically because if Tari Eason is 26, I'm saying no. But at 24 years old, a position that the Kings don't have, they were running around trying to get Jonathan Kuminga. I understand Tari Eason's ceiling is not as high as Jonathan Kuminga, and he's a couple years older. But this would help Keegan Murray so much, assuming you're going to extend him. You could be losing Keon in unrestricted free agency. Tari Eason last season, 57 games, 12 points per game, 6.4 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game, 48% from the field, 34% from three, 76% from free throw. He's a bruiser, 6'8", 216, out of Cincinnati. Then he went to LSU. As far as his draft status, he was a 17th pick in the 2022 NBA draft. So you're getting a first rounder. We talked about that as well. Kyle, you have to do it. You have to do that if you're the Kings.
I think there's merits to both, right? Because if you are, because they're operating under the assumption you're going to extend both, right? Mm-hmm. If you're the Kings and you still want to land a power forward in addition to Keon, I understand going that route. We just had the conversation about Dave's tweet and the Sports Radar about like Keon, Keegan, and Sabonis should be the building blocks. Therefore, Tari Eason is added into the building blocks. If you make this trade, one could make the argument you haven't gotten better. You've just kind of reshuffled the building blocks. Mm-hmm. Now you have a 24-year-old power forward, a 25-year-old wing, which in theory, Tari Eason helps with Keegan's development.
Right.
And you have Sabonis, but you still have to then figure out playmaking guards, and you would still have Zach LaVine, and you would figure that out after that. But I understand someone who looks at it and says they haven't gotten better. You're just kind of reshuffling to balance out the roster, which I would say yes, and they probably should do that. It just would suck if it meant not having to keep Keon Ellis.
Again, And I know he has not played a game in the NBA, right? The two potential backups or the two potential replacements for Keon Ellis, one hasn't played in the NBA at all. The other has very, very limited playing time in Devin Carter. I'm not comparing them to Keon, but as far as Nick Clifford is concerned, being a first-round pick and 23 years old and what we've seen from him so far, I do feel a lot more comfortable doing this. If they did not have Nick Clifford, there's no way I do this. Even though they would still need a 4, I can't do this without Nick Clifford. And, not really so much Devin Carter. We just have to see more from him. Having Nick Clifford on the squad, it's a gamble. But again, you need a power forward. You do.
Yeah.
And Tari Eason, we talk about kind of the second chance or second draft situations. The Rockets have bigger fish to fry now. So some of these, that's why they moved off of Cam Whitmore. Now that they have bigger fish to fry, you can take advantage of that and help your team get a little bit better. And Tari Eason, him and Jabari Smith Jr. have been kind of fighting back and forth for playing time. Who's going to start? They just made a decision in paying Jabari Smith Jr., who they were both first rounders, but obviously Jabari drafted in the top 5. I just think it is a no-brainer.
So this is kind of the interesting point that I see in the story from Pincus that I just want to read. It's saying, he's not a great outside shooter, but he finished with a career high of 12 points and 1.7 steals. He's a legit 6'8", mobile. This is Eason. 6'8", mobile enough to guard multiple positions. He's a difficult player for Houston to part with, but Eason has become more of luxury than necessity.
Who else does that sound like?
I was going to say, does that sound like somebody we know?
I really just be chilling for real.
You've been making the point that it's more luxury than necessity. And his point is Keon probably slots in that 10 to 15 million a year average annual versus Tari Eason will slot in at that 15 to 20.
Yeah.
And so the Rockets get some financial flexibility in that way by adding Keon Ellis.
Yeah.
Especially when they already have Jabari Smith Jr. But again, this is a trade for both teams to kind of balance out their rosters after making trades that, let's say, they just tried the best they could, right? Kevin Durant, we're going to get him and give up our playmaking guard, and the Kings were going to give up De'Aaron Fox for a wing scorer. Both teams are kind of trying to rebalance their rosters.
Yeah, but, before that, Fred VanVleet, nobody's comparing the Rockets to the Kings. I can tell you that much right now.
Şengün, Sabonis,
a little bit different. Tell me what Vegas thinks.
Kevin Durant, DeMar DeRozan, Hall of Famers.
Go look up. Go look up the Rockets win total.
Amen Thompson, Keegan Murray.
So 3.2 3-point attempts per game, and I could assume just from what I've seen, those are all from the corner for Tari.
Yeah, guaranteed.
Those are all from the corner. 34% on 3.2 attempts. So again, he's only 24. He can grow in that realm. I think you would have to do this deal. And just to be clear, because I know somebody is probably thinking this, because I was thinking this, and just wanted to make sure we make it very, very transparent and clear that, Eric Pincus of Bleacher Report, he is saying that Keon Ellis is not a point guard. He recognizes that Keon Ellis is not a point guard. Their thought process is, we have Reed Shepherd. When we want to go a little bit more defensive focused, we can bring in Keon Ellis, and KD can be the point guard. Amen Thompson is getting better at handling the basketball. So this would not be, this guy doesn't know that Keon isn't a point guard. It's not that. He realizes that. He still thinks that it would help the Fred VanVleet from the 3-and-D perspective, even if Keon isn't handling the basketball as much as Fred VanVleet would.
Yeah, he's not saying Keon will be their Cason Wallace. He's kind of saying Keon will be their Alex Caruso, kind of in a way, which in a weird way, the Rockets do have a gluttony of forwards now, which you'd say that's better than having a gluttony of guards. But between
9 running backs, 1 wide receiver.
Yeah, they have 9 wide receivers, 1 running back, basically now. They've got, but they also have, who's like a wide receiver who play. They also have Debo in Kevin Durant, who's he can be a running back at times. So they've got 1 hybrid guy, 9 wide receivers, and 1 running back, because you've got Amen Thompson, who's essentially their shooting guard now. You've got Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Steven Adams, Jock Landale, Alperen Şengün. I think they have Clint Capella on their team now, too.
They definitely do.
Like, they've just got such a gluttony of forwards that the idea is having a two-guard, like a true two-guard who can get deflections, guard ones and twos. Because, like, Kevin Durant can handle the ball, but he's not going to be guarding point guards. So you need someone who can defend point guards and two guards. That's kind of the idea of why the Rockets do it.
We have to attempt to run our Tankathon once again. We will do that on the other side. We also will hear from Hot Honey Jones, Isaac Jones, and what he is looking forward to this upcoming season. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
Do Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keep coming back? Tremfya, guselkumab, may help, with rapid remission achieved at 12 weeks and lasting clinical remission at 1 year. Some even saw visible improvement of their intestinal lining at 12 weeks and 1 year. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Healing is possible with Tremfya. Approximately 3 out of 10 patients were in endoscopic remission at 1 year, based on areas visualized on colonoscopy, which may not represent the deeper bowel layer or entire GI tract. Individual results may vary. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
Vanity Fair calls BritBox a delicious streamer. Collider says everyone should be watching. Catch Britain's next best series with BritBox. Stream acclaimed new originals like Code of Silence.
You read lips, right?
And Linley, based on the best-selling mystery series.
Say hi, Linley. Take it from here.
And don't miss the new season of Karen Piri, coming this October.
You don't look like police. I'll take that as a compliment.
See it differently when you stream the best of British TV with BritBox. Watch with a free trial today.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Hello, I'm Frank Cock with Retirement Security Centers with a weekly economic update. The stock market continued its upward momentum from its lows in April, with the S&P 500 up over 30% and the Nasdaq up over 45% since then. Stocks have achieved all-time highs after falling due to the concern over the economic impact of tariffs. Possible concern over high price earnings ratios may have kept many investors squarely on the sidelines. Normally seeing warning signs such as inflation creeping up, unemployment increasing, and weak consumer confidence leads to market pullbacks, but strangely enough, the recent upward movement could signal additional upward momentum. When stocks go on a 5-month winning streak, it has previously signaled increased values over the next 12 months. The fourth quarter is usually the best performer with an average performance of plus 5.21%. That being said, October has tended to trend downward, but September has performed as it has in 2025, so a pullback or retreat may not signal doom and gloom, but a reset to allow those on the sideline and on-ramp to increase their equity exposure. How might this affect you or your family? Please go to frankontheradio.com to schedule an appointment, watch videos, and receive market updates. I'm ready to help you start your journey so you can define your future.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Mosaic Wealth, member FINRA SIPC. Mosaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Mosaic Wealth.
Hey man, gaining weight, low energy, lost drive? It could be your testosterone. Revive Men's Health Sacramento helps men get their edge back. Meet Tyler, Revive Men's Health Director of Operations.
When men start treatment, it's not just their labs that change. You see it in their posture, their energy, and how they walk into the room. That's why I do what I do.
Call 916-619-3000 now to book your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation. That's 916-619-3000 or schedule anytime at ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram has the best selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. All of them top quality, hand-selected by their general manager, Chuck Dean. You can see for yourself their huge selection at SacSuperstore.com with the lowest prices and the best car buying experiences anywhere. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Live and local.
It's Allen Stiles
On Sacktown Sports.
Nine 339-1140. I was talking to Kyle because Susan Slusser just dropped this. The vote effect. Buster Posey seems focused on former catchers for Giants managing job. So basically, it's not Stephen Vogt, but it's the Stephen Vogt effect, as when you're part of a successful organization. Hey, you must be good at your job too. So Craig Albernaz is the right-hand man to Stephen Vogt, and Susan Slusser believes that because Cleveland is now done, the Giants being free to request to speak with Albernaz for their managing spot, that could be something that the Giants do. He was a finalist for the White Sox and Marlins job last winter, but withdrew his name when the Guardians moved him from bench coach to associate manager. So Buster Posey, he likes his catchers, and that's kind of it is a Buster thing. But the catchers, you see the whole game, you know the game very well, so I understand why Buster's going in that direction. So that just dropped.
See, I was about to say this when I think it was the Angels job. They were like Torrey Hunter, Albert Pujols.
What was going on there?
Yeah, I don't know, but I was thinking like, in the modern day where you were talking about like the AAA to MLB pipeline for a manager, and I think kind of the answer to your question is like you go from a AAA manager to a major league infield coach to a major league bench coach to a major league whatever.
Yes,
kind of that's the pipeline.
yeah.
Like I think of Pat Murphy with the Brewers.
Or you're a little older and you're just chilling.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's kind of the pipeline now. But I kind of was like, didn't the old thing used to be like pitchers and catchers were the best managers or something? Like, why is no one going back to that old adage of like a new generation, but still pitchers and catchers? And maybe that's just the manager role has changed so much.
Yeah, Stephen Vogt, Buster, everybody was obviously very high on him, and they've done very well. And now Buster's
he had no manager experience.
Right. Well, I think when you look at the former player thing, always changes the approach, and the fact that Terry Francona sneaking the Reds in and things like that just don't really make sense. Like Terry Francona still being in the cycle, I don't think anybody had that one.
So is this just the idea that baseball is cooked once these old managers go? Like they're all like every manager is just going to be a puppet for the organization?
I don't know about that.
Because like Aaron Boone was doing TV,
Yeah.
and then they dragged him in to manage the Yankees.
Now that's what I like.
And 8 years later, he's still the Yankees manager. Like Dave Roberts was, I think he was a bench coach for the Padres.
Go get Eduardo Perez. 916.
Giants got a Hunter Pence?
Yeah. Oh, no.
No, not him?
No. 916-339-1140. Let's hear from Isaac Jones. We're going to run our tankathon, but we're also going to hear from Isaac Jones. We are, how you doing, man? Joined by Isaac Jones. Isaac, you are live here on Sacktown Sports, the Allen Stiles Show. Thank you so much for joining us, man. How you been?
Good. Thank you for having me. I've been wonderful, just blessed, and just happy to be here.
Let's start here. So, your summer, right? You had Summer League, and we talked to you a little bit during Summer League. We were having conversations about you and the three-point shooting, right? How has that gone for you? And look, I haven't played basketball a very long time. What are they called? The iron mics, when you get in there and you shoot it and the ball pops back to you? So were you just in a gym all summer with the shooting machine? When you say to yourself, I want to work on something specifically like three-point shooting. I was talking to Doug McDermott. Is there anything with your form you wanted to work on? Did you just think repetition? How did that go for you this summer?
It's a little bit of everything, like a lot of reps, like you were saying, but my shot was pretty flat. I just have a naturally flat shot, so if I get it up a little bit, higher chance of going in. But it was more about game speed reps. So like, I would shoot on the gun, but I would do like some running or whatever, get conditioned a little bit, and then staying low and ready and getting game type shots.
Mhm.
And I worked on that a lot.
Talking to Isaac Jones. This is actually our first time talking to you since you were named All Summer League first team. How was your time in Vegas, and how was that run like? Obviously, you had that huge three in what was a championship game, I believe. So how was that for you, and was it what you had expected? Was it different? How'd that go for you?
It's kind of what I expected. Like, I wanted to go in there and make an impact. As I said, we didn't win it all. That was a tough game, but I think we showed that our whole team was NBA ready, that we can all compete, and it was just a lot of fun.
Yeah. Talking to Isaac Jones, we saw and we heard that you were part of a Rico Hines group running and going over to Domantas Sabonis' place in Napa, so a very busy summer for you. Talk to us about Domantas Sabonis as a leader, right? Because I think a lot of times, especially radio shows, media all get caught up in the, hey, well, who's on the court yelling and who's doing this and who's the leader, who's the dog on the team, whatever it is. But when I saw that kind of report and saw what Domantas Sabonis was doing, having some of you guys over, I thought, oh, okay, that's how you kind of lead by example. Talk about the type of leader that Domantas Sabonis has been.
Yeah, no, like you said, he's a dog, like high intensity, and it rubs off. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a perfect example of how to play hard and how to work hard. So going out there, training with him, we got to see what it's like to be like a real pro, a real all-star and work out, and how he's so consistent and how he's so physically dominant and how he pushes himself every day. So it taught me a lot. Max came out there. I know he learned a lot too. So, yeah, he was whooping on us in ones and stuff. It was crazy. You should have seen him. He's doing stuff I've never seen. But
Yeah.
He's a dog.
Talking to Isaac Jones. So the word kind of gets thrown around, I guess, tweener, if you will, or you could just say somebody that can do multiple things, right? For your position where you can be a 4, you can be a 5, what has your focus been trying to kind of determine what best fits your skill set and how you can help the team the most?
My focus has just been like looking at my physical tools. So I got like a 7'3" wingspan. So naturally I should be disruptive defensively. You know what I'm saying? I should be able to switch 1 through 4, 1 through 5, and I think that's something I focused on a lot. And just me working on my threes is what's going to keep me out there longer offensively. But then me using my tools defensively is what's going to keep me around for a long time.
I remember I was at the All-Star game for All-Star Weekend, specifically the G League one, and it's so funny to see guys like you that have been in the NBA, in the big show, but also spending some time in the G League. Because you just said Domantas Sabonis was killing y'all. You were killing them at that run. They had the different showcases with all the rising stars. How is that difference when you go from G League to NBA? How is that mindset difference, if there is at all, in how you attack offensively and defensively? Then when you get with the big club, okay, I got to kind of do things a little bit in a different way and focus on other areas of my game.
I think in the G League I have a bigger offensive role. Like when I get sent down there, they definitely want me to score and be more aggressive. Up here I have like crazy scorers, DeMar, Zach, and all of them. Like they get paid to score, and I can just compliment them for being athletic, crashing the glass, and passing the ball when they're open, and still finding a way to affect the game without scoring as much.
So this being your second year now, do you still have the bright eyes and the big eyes of, wow, I'm really here? Or does it more so come off to you like, you know what, I'm supposed to be here. This is my second year in the league. Now it's about making sure I stay and solidifying myself in the league.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm in between. Like, waking up and realizing you're in the NBA is still crazy. Like, seeing Zach walk by is like, bro, like, I watched you do this since I was a kid.
Yeah.
But I also have that, like what you're saying, like, I know I'm supposed to be here, and I'm just trying to make sure I stay here now.
Yeah, the last time we spoke, you were telling me about the hot honey wings. That's what you were on. You were eating a lot of the hot honey wings. Lately, Sacramento, farm to fork capital of the world. You got any spots that you like? Is there a type of food that you're into right now? What we got going on?
I like Jack's Urban Eats right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been trying to stay away from the chicken as much. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting older, so I can't eat like I used to.
This guy's getting older now. Man, I guess you are technically.
But yeah, Jack's is the spot to go for sure.
Isaac Jones, thank you so much for joining us, man. Let's do it again soon, and can't wait to have some conversations after practice, things like that. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
Isaac Jones, Hot Honey Jones. Great stuff. Practice, things like that. We appreciate you taking the time.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you.
That was Isaac Jones. Great stuff, as always. On the other side, we have an update on Dan Orlovsky's take as far as Mac Jones, not necessarily being better than Brock Purdy, but if he had been drafted to the Niners, how good the Niners would have been. So we have that for you. We have all of the NFL games and who's on upset alert watch as well. Don't move. More Allen Stiles coming up.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager at a manufacturing plant, he does everything he can to keep his coworkers safe. From finding ways to reduce risks to keeping safety supplies in stock. And for that, he relies on Grainger. Grainger offers a broad range of quality products and next-day delivery, so he can always play it safe. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
If you're 55 or older and into that whole saving money thing, T-Mobile has an exclusive phone and internet bundle just for you. Right now, get 2 unlimited phone lines plus 5G home internet for just $30 each per month with autopay, plus taxes and fees. And with 5G home internet, setup is easy with just 1 cord and no technician needed, which is great if you're also into that whole keeping it simple thing. Switch now and experience the best mobile network in the U.S. Visit your local store to start saving. T-Mobile, it's better over here.
Based on analysis by Ookla of speed test intelligence data Q4 2024 to Q1 2025, Ookla trademarks used under license. Unlimited on our network. Customers on voice plan may notice speeds lower than other customers and further reduction if using more than 50 gigs a month due to data prioritization. Video streams and SD on this plan. Home internet pricing after $20 in monthly bill credit plus $5 per line without autopay. Debit or bank account required. See 5G device coverage and access details at T-Mobile.com.
Sacktown Sports has your ticket to the biggest live events going on in our region. First up, get in the game Halloween weekend at the Sinners and Saints Halloween Party and Costume Contest at the venue at Thunder Valley, October 25th. Then, country fans, the spotlight's on the brand new Channel 24 venue in Sacramento as Cameron Marlowe takes the stage October 28th. Comedy lovers, don't miss the one and only Trevor Noah, November 9th at the venue at Thunder Valley. The action keeps rolling with Jesse McCartney at Channel 24 Sacramento on November 14th. The same night, legends, the Isley Brothers bring the soul to Hard Rock Live. Rock icons Heart storm Hard Rock Live on November 21st, followed by the Stray Cats November 23rd. Laugh it up with Mike Epps on December 5th at Hard Rock Live Sacramento. Sacktown Sports is your home court for live events. Head to sacktownsports.com. That's sacktownsports.com for more info.
Your local sports leader in the 916.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports 1140.
You are home for Kings Talk and so much more.
Live and local.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
I've missed a lot of things during my time off. I've missed the text line. I've missed the callers. I've missed Kyle. I've missed the sales team, of course. Love you, sales team. Don't forget. Have not missed this song on Friday. not miss this song.
Friday,
Yeah.
I'm in love.
I've not missed this song on Friday, Kyle. So, look, I know we're going to keep, it's your thing. We'll play it.
I look forward to the look of disgust on your face.
Because I forget.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You forget it's coming every time. And then the first jingle hits right at the start where it's da-na-na-na-na, and just your face drops every time.
530 on the text line says, any chance Sabonis and Levine are all-stars, DeRozan turning back the clock, Keegan having the best year ever, and the Kings win 50-plus games this season. There's obviously a chance, and the reason we know there's a chance is because that's exactly what happened Beam Team season, right? Kevin Huerter, best season of his career, or I guess top 2 season of his career. De'Aaron Fox, is that the best season of De'Aaron Fox's career?
He made All-NBA.
Yeah, De'Aaron Fox, best season of his career. Domantas Sabonis, top 2 season of his career. Keegan Murray, one of the best three-point shooting rookie seasons ever. Malik Monk, top 5 in the six-man conversation. All those things happened, and there was the West was maybe slightly weaker, but you didn't know that going into the season. So yes, there's a chance that could happen 5-3-0 because it happened a couple years ago.
Well, I guess I would say let's shoot for 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4 first, because DeMar DeRozan turns back the clock on what? He had a great season.
I was going to say that too. I'm not sure what else. You would actually want less DeMar DeRozan if those other things are happening.
I want DeMar DeRozan to turn 2 steps backwards and start shooting 3-pointers.
That was a good one. That was a good one. You just came up with that one just right now.
Yeah,
huh?
Just off the dome.
Okay.
Not Dome Gino, but off the dome.
No, and speaking of, Mac Jones is on his way to Vegas right now, if I have anything to do with it. Senor Segway strikes again. Earlier in the show, we talked about Dan Orlovsky, how he said in 2023 that if, and this is at the height of the Brock show. This is at the height of Party Like a Brock Star. Dan Orlovsky said if Mac Jones was with the Niners, he would look like Brock Purdy.
Mac Jones was in San Francisco, he would be playing like Brock Purdy.
So he said that. Rex Ryan laughed at him. I laughed at him. We all laughed at him. And now it doesn't sound as crazy. So
now you've made a complete 180.
Yes. So Dan Orlovsky quote tweeted it from 2023. Good for him for keeping the receipts. So Pat McAfee had him on the show this morning. And this is what Dan Orlovsky had to say following up on his thoughts. And now that Mac Jones is playing well, what that could mean for the Niners. Here it is.
Yeah, I truly believe if he went to San Francisco at 3 that year, he would be one of the top, 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. I had felt that. I would say this, though. I think on the field, he would have been able to handle Shanahan's offense. I do think the maturity has absolutely kind of grown. I just was watching you guys play his post-game comments, and we've seen Mac have some bad body language and probably comport himself in ways that he wasn't great when he was younger. So I think that and kind of like the maturity throughout the league or his years has developed. I'll say this off the game last night. That's the best game I've ever seen him play in the NFL. I was blown away how good he was. You're throwing all these clips. Dude, the timing of these throws is nuts. And the crazy thing is, they're not 6-yard completions. They're all 16, 18, 24-yard completions that are big-time throws, and they're coming right out of his hands. But so many times the ball left his hands before the receivers were dropping their hips and getting into their cuts, and so it was a phenomenal game. It's the best game I've ever seen Mac play, and what a freaking win.
That was Dan Orlovsky, and it's still funny to hear it. And look, obviously we'll never know. He's on the team now, and good on Dan for admitting, hey, if Mac Jones did get drafted, he might have handled things a little bit differently. He's more mature now, as happens in life. So we don't know what could happen. This is what Ryan Clark had to say. And Kyle, my favorite part about this is that the timestamp on this is 5:55 p.m., which means the game had been going on for a little less than an hour.
It was probably
right?
7-0 at this point.
Maybe 14-0, right? And Ryan Clark tweets this. Of course, it's going viral. If the 49ers draft Mac Jones like was rumored instead of Trey Lance, so many things are different. The 49ers probably win a Super Bowl. Mac Jones is one of the highest paid QBs in football, and we never find out just how good Brock Purdy is. What an incredible statement.
Yeah, pretty much.
What an incredible statement. And I don't know if any of that is true. Again, it's only been a couple days, so you got to pump the brakes a little bit. But Mac Jones did play well in New England, and then New England just went haywire. So we've seen Mac Jones play well. We've seen Mac Jones play well slightly more than we've seen him play poorly, to be completely honest with you. But I do think that we get caught up, and I'm just saying the collective we, maybe not you listening in the car or on YouTube. I do get caught up in mobility. I am big on that. I don't get obsessed over the Lamar Jackson stuff and the Jaden Daniels stuff because I do worry that they're going to be able to stay healthy, and I understand they can throw the football too, don't get me wrong. And even Kyler Murray is just very bizarre of a story at this point and who he is.
The Trey Young of football.
Yeah, exactly. But I do get hung up on being mobile. I love my Josh Allens. I love my Justin Herberts. Justin Herbert's been running a lot more now that he's healthy.
You hate Justin Herbert.
But I like the fact that he can run. I've always liked the fact that he can run. These stuck-in-the-mud quarterbacks, it has always felt like we've been moving on from them. And that's why I don't really like Tua, because Tua is undersized, weak arm, and doesn't really run. That doesn't make any sense. How does that exist in this reality?
Because he's Drew Brees.
And I like Drew Brees is more mobile than him at this point.
Oh, that's crazy.
I'm just saying. Well, maybe not Drew Brees at 47. Brock Purdy, very mobile, right? All these guys, I'm going to read through them. That's why Dak deciding not to run, I think, is a big deal.
Our guy, Indianapolis Jones.
So let's count out the stuck-in-the-mud quarterbacks. There's not a lot these days. Daniel Jones runs. Josh Allen runs. Patrick Mahomes runs. Dak Prescott stuck in the mud. We got one. Lamar.
I've seen Dak dive into the game.
I'll put you on. No. Back in the day, before he broke his foot or whatever. Dak, I'm going to tell you right now, Kyle, when your prop talk is set at 5 rushing yards, I don't want to hear it.
So it's Mac Jones level.
Literally. So Dak Prescott stuck in the mud. Jared Goff stuck in the mud. Matthew Stafford stuck in the mud. Obviously, we already talked about Mac Jones. Jordan Love is weird. I'm not going to say he's stuck in the mud. He just doesn't like running. Kyle, that's it. And Trevor Lawrence
runs.
Yeah, Kyle, that's it.
Yeah.
That's crazy. 3. And out of those 3, let's go back over them. Dak Prescott, $60 million a year. Very confusing what people think as far as who he is as a quarterback. But he's an elite quarterback. Jared Goff, that's probably the best comp, not comp for Mac Jones, but to be stuck in the mud and not be one of the best quarterbacks ever. Also a really good system out there in Detroit and a lot of good weapons. And the last one that I said, Matthew Stafford, Hall of Famer. So 2 guys that are the 2 highest paid quarterbacks, or 1 Hall of Famer, Dak, I don't think is a Hall of Famer, but Dak, elite quarterback.
His era's Tony Romo.
And Jared Goff. So you just don't see it a lot.
Even Bryce Young is set at 11.5 rushing yards.
I'm telling you. So you just don't see it a lot. So when Mac Jones was coming up, I'm always caught up in mobility, especially when I'm watching college football, and Mac Jones just isn't mobile. I got caught up on that. And maybe it would have worked out if he went to the Niners, but I'm to see now what he's able to do. And he doesn't run. It's very traditional. It's very classic. It's very throwback. And I think that I'm not the only one that said, dude, this guy can't run, right? His arm is fine. What is it that when you're on the outside looking in, what is it that Mac Jones does really well? I think that's what people like me struggled with.
And that's why it's so perfect to the Shanahan system, because the things he does well are the things Shanahan loves, which is screen passes, out routes, and play action. Like he can bootleg to the right and throw on the run. And those are just the things Shanahan just wants to do all day long. And it opens up everything else, too. You were gone, but it was me and Whitey. This is when we first found out Brock had the turf toe. And I said, or we did a segment, can the 49ers win with Mac Jones? And I made the point that, yes, they most definitely can, because what Mac Jones does well is what Shanahan likes, and also he is the perfect set of conditions for that, like, we talk about the second draft. He's a perfect second draft quarterback because in his first 4 years in the NFL, he had 5 different offensive coordinators, one of which was Joe Judge and Matt Patricia, co-offensive coordinators for the Patriots. Then he went to Bill O'Brien. Then he went to, I think it was Press Taylor was the offensive coordinator for the Jaguars last year.
Yeah.
Like, he went through so much change. He never had a coach stay as his coordinator and play caller longer than a year, that he was just set up to fail. And his one great season with the Patriots, where he was grittying in the Pro Bowl as a rookie, he had Josh McDaniels. And it's funny to say that now, but Josh McDaniels leaving stunted Mac Jones's development in the NFL because he never got a competent play caller after that. And now he has one, and he looks like Mac Jones from the Patriots. They also got his receiver in Kendrick Bourne.
And let us not forget, I didn't even bring this up yet, Mac Jones stunting on that play where he straightened up his shoulders. Oh, my goodness. I got chills. Hold on. Where are my glasses at? I got chills, man. Now we're talking about Mac Jones again. I got chills. We got a shout from the 209. They said, is Aaron Rodgers stuck in the mud? For sure. For sure. There are a couple, and he's just old now. He wasn't.
No.
But he is stuck in the mud. So we're at 3 now. There are a couple honorable mention stuck in the mud. CJ Stroud is kind of stuck in the mud to me.
Did you see his comment today?
Yes.
I'm getting old.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I'm getting washed up. I watched myself in high school, and I was what are we doing with that?
Also, I love Diana Rossini last week was like, there's some stuff going on behind the scenes in Houston, and we'll find out soon enough.
Interesting.
And I was like, what does that mean?
Interesting. So, yeah, that CJ Stroud is kind of there. Geno Smith, he might get you, is going to be set at about 7.5, 8 yards. If he doesn't get it, he ain't running more than once. Yeah. Geno's kind of stuck in the mud.
Let's see where Geno's at for this week. Let's see.
My guess is 8.5. That's my guess for Geno.
Does Geno meet your standard? 8.5.
It's literally 8.5.
It is 8.5.
I'm getting too good at this, man. And you got one chance, people. You got one chance, or you're not getting it.
Is he the equivalent of the Marquez Valdez-Scantling?
Literally,
like you got one shot at a 20-yard completion.
And if Geno runs and it's 7 yards and a first down, you're fried. Yeah. You're cooked. He is not taking off. So I would say Geno's stuck in the mud as well. But because even Sam Darnold will run.
Yeah.
So I think there's 3 true stuck in the mud QBs, and I think there's about 5 in general. So you look at that, that's a pretty small percentage, and you just have to be really good otherwise. And shout out to the Niners offensive line. I don't know where they've been because they kept Mac pretty protected besides that one time he got sacked towards the end of the game and his pants almost fell off. But besides that, they kept him pretty safe all game.
Yeah, which, by the way, why does that only happen to Mac Jones? Why is it
he's got a flat butt?
Maybe, but why do I feel like I've seen Mac Jones's butt on TV more than any other quarterback in the NFL? Why does that keep happening to him?
I don't know.
There's also another tier here that I just thought about,
okay.
And you can see if there's anyone else to it, which is the tier of they can run, but like, we're good. We don't want you to run kind of situation, which I think of as Baker Mayfield. Like, you can run, but we're good. You're just going to dive head first and blow out your neck.
Yeah, but he still does run.
He does run, but you're worried every time he does that he's just going to get...
Yeah.
Like Kyler Murray is probably in this camp too. We want you to run, but we're worried every time someone's going to blow your head off.
Where I thought you were going to go with this is you can run, but I don't know how to say this. I want to prove to you that I don't have to run, right?
That's Kyler Murray.
I was going to say that's Jordan Love. Jordan Love refuses to run.
That one's tough, though, because, like, Jordan Love's thing is, like, that pass is going to get open eventually. If I just stick around long enough, that route's going to open up. Because he's great at the deep ball, but he's not good at the short stuff.
He will literally be running, and you're thinking, yes, yes, yes. And then all of a sudden, just find a random find Joshua Dobbs and his enlarged helmet, and you're thinking, no, yeah. I had you at 5.5 rushing yards. It's him, and I would say C.J. Stroud too. I think that C.J. Stroud is not as fast as Jordan Love. Both of them could do more with their legs, but it's almost like they want to show you that they don't have to do that.
Small sample size, but I think we might be adding him to this group is Cam Ward too, where Cam Ward's just buy time and chuck it.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. And they don't find themselves on the red zone a lot because they're never in the red zone.
They've already changed coordinators.
I thought, look, they convinced me he had the work ethic and he's so much better than, he's so much more focused than Shedeur. I was way off on the Titans. Look, they need a number one wide receiver, number one. I have seen probably 3 Cam Ward snaps all season.
I got tricked into Calvin Ridley, picking him on my fantasy
How old
team.
is he?
I don't know, man. But he's like 4 years removed from being suspended for gambling.
Yeah, that's on you.
But the ones I have seen is literally like him on a 2-point conversion throwing across his body for a touchdown.
I just thought of a new category. Bryce Young, there's no reason he shouldn't be running. It's not I want to prove to you that I don't have to run. Bryce Young's category is I just want to leave. I just want to leave.
Please let me go home.
I just want to get out of here, man.
Low key, that's also Kyler Murray, but Kyler Murray fits in a lot of these with the running quarterback.
I don't know what I think. Tua stuck. I think he's stuck in the mud a little bit.
Tua, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
honestly, your version of Titans with Cam Ward is me with the Dolphins. I ain't watching the Dolphins.
Yeah,
I saw Darren Waller had 2 touchdowns, and I was like, that seems weird. How did that happen?
And then he was rapping with John Gruden somewhere, and it was outstanding.
Yeah,
just outstanding.
Which,
stuff.
by the way, how bad do you have to be if you're the Jets defender guarding Darren Waller? Just comes off the couch.
Well, one of the times I believe it was Sauce.
Oh, you're kidding. No.
One time it was Sauce.
Jeez, Sauce. Well, I guess Darren Waller's
He's huge.
Yeah, Darren Waller's like 6 inches and 200.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure one of the times it was Sauce Gardner.
Okay, well, that's on the Jets.
Yeah.
Whoever Jets
scheme.
defensive coordinator, I can't name. It's probably going to be someone funny. Watch, if I look up the Jets defensive coordinator, it's going to be some hilarious blast from the past.
209 says Russell Wilson stuck in the mud. I think we're done with Russell Wilson. By the way, I'm going to give everyone, and I've been doing this because my prop, I'm telling y'all, I've been red hot. There is another prop out there. We're going to do more. We don't have traditional prop talk today because the Niners already played. You know what I love, and I forgot to say this yesterday, and my buddy did very well yesterday. Schmal and Miles. People were tagging me on Twitter saying, how's Miles doing? How did Schmal and Miles do?
Maybe we could just call him Miles.
Yeah, Miles. Miles did very well. Miles could have done much better if Kyron Williams got 2 yards. Miles would have done very well, Kyle.
Fumbled at the goal line.
But he still came away with some action. But I told you about secondary receivers, okay? My cheat codes. Secondary receivers, Demarcus Robinson hits. Now, yesterday is not the best example of my plan, but it was Demarcus Robinson and who else? Devontae Adams. Good defense against the Niners. Puka doesn't hit. And we said to stay away from Puka. I hope y'all listened.
Puka just a receptions merchant, huh?
Seriously. So we said secondary receivers, running back, dump-offs, and both hit. Even McCaffrey with 60. There's one last one. And I said tight ends because I like tight ends. Parkinson, I'm done with. I will never do, and I only did it because it was, or my buddy only did it because it was the only game. Miles only did it because it was the only game. I'm done with Rams tight ends. I don't know who you are. Parkinson, did you play? Then this dude named Allen pops up. I'm done with the Rams and their tight ends. Where's Higbee's hurt every weekend? I'm done with Rams tight ends.
Higbee cannot still be there. There's no way.
I believe he is. I have one more cheat code for you if you're listening out there going into this weekend. And I told you, focus on secondary receivers. Number one, if I'm tearing this out for you, dump offs. Okay? Especially if the quarterback is iffy or if they're facing a good defense. Dump offs. And we're going to go through these games. I'll tell you which ones to focus on. Dump offs, number one. Okay? 2 running backs. Running back receiving yards. Number 2, I would say tight ends. Number 3, because I just don't like long yardage, secondary receivers. And number 4, this is a very strong cheat code for you. Listen up. Because Drake May was a merchant at this last season. You're getting ready for your prop talk? Young QB, because this is what we were talking about. Young QB rushing yards. Even if they're not traditional runners. Spencer Rattler last week had about 40 rushing yards because they don't know what they're doing. Young QBs always look to run the football once their first or second read is gone. Trust me on this. Jackson Dart, take a look at his rushing yards. These guys, these young QBs, they get out of Dodge. Now, I would say from Cam Ward, obviously, but guys that aren't afraid to go mobile, trust me on that.
They're not playing this week, but I was like, what is Michael Penix's rushing yards?
Well, okay, him and who did I just say, Cam Ward?
Yeah.
No, because they just won't do it. They won't do it. They refuse to do it. He's another guy. Good call, Kyle. Michael Penix, I will not run.
No.
But his excuse is I've almost, I've had my knees blown up multiple times, so I'm just not ready.
I'm 26 years old and have had multiple knee surgeries.
But I'm telling y'all right now, and let's get on into it since we're talking about it. Right, everybody, it's just the typical radio segment. Who do you like in this game? We're not doing it the same way. We're not going through every game. We're focusing on games that we actually think are interesting.
We've already wasted too much time talking about the Titans.
That's right. And I will give you some heads up in these situations for your prop talk so you can buy that significant other something nice. All right, Kyle, not wasting my time with Minnesota and Cleveland. Anything with Cleveland, I'm just not doing.
Minnesota's worse than Cleveland now.
Yeah, I'm not doing it. Not when they played the Bengals.
Yeah, except for the Bengals. Whoa.
Now, this one might be a shootout. I know the Colts have a good defense, and Brock Bowers, he's just not right. But Vegas at Colts, that would be one that I would pay attention to for prop talk. Okay, it's a little tough because the Colts do have a lot of offensive options. It looks like, but our guy that we've talked to before. I'm trying to Campbell. Was it Campbell? No, not Campbell.
Who are you talking about? Paris Campbell?
No, not Michael Pittman. Wrong P. Michael Pittman Jr.
Sorry, the wrong receiver for them.
Michael Pittman Jr. He's somebody that's been hot right now. But I would tell you right now, you don't really trust Daniel Jones' arm, right? I know he's been good, but he's starting to come back to life. Jonathan Taylor receiving yards. They will check down. I'm telling you. I repeat, they will check down. And whoever wins, Vegas will probably lose.
Vegas is probably going to lose.
New York Jets. Oh, my goodness. New York Jets at New Orleans Saints. That is a QB rushing extravaganza.
Let's see if they're prepared for it. What's Justin Fields at?
No. New York Giants. So it's Jackson Dart, Spencer Rattler. Them boys are going to be running all over the place.
Yeah, let's see where Rattler's at.
All right. Last week, Miles got burned on Cam Scatteraboo receiving yards. So be careful with that. But those two quarterbacks are going to be running around everywhere. I don't know that I would touch anything else.
You want 15.5 for the Spencer Rattler rushing yards?
Yeah, I would. I would take that. 15.5?
Yeah.
I'm taking that.
And then we've got, 37.5 for Jackson Dart.
That's a little much. I like two good runs. Two good ones. That 37, that's a lot.
Jackson Dart's got a couple in him.
Yeah, he's got 25 yards in him, but that's kind of high. That might move.
This is kind of how sad the Giants are, though. Like, in past years, it was like the Giants suck and Tommy DeVito is scoring 0 points. And now it's like, we've got our offense of the future, and it's going to look garbage.
Yeah. The Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Jets. From a prop talk perspective, I think the Cowboys are going to win. I believe the Cowboys are going to win that one. It is in New York, so you never know. From a prop talk perspective, this guy is my go-to. I always ride with him. I don't know. I think CD is still out. He was in a boot, so I think CD is still out. Ferguson on the Cowboys. I ride or die with Ferguson. And whoever the problem with New York is they have those two running backs. I don't like that because one guy's going to get the receiving yards. The other, I don't like that. And Justin Fields running around, don't like that. And you know what? Be careful with Justin Fields rushing yards because there's no pressure on the quarterback.
If it helps, Braylon Allen just broke his foot, so he's out.
Okay, now we're back in. Receiving yards all day long. Denver at Philly, I would stay away from this game, man.
From a prop talk perspective?
Do not touch this game. Or if you're really about that life, go unders. Denver, Philly. Who do I have in that game? I mean, I'm done. I can't pick against Philly anymore, so I'll take Philly. Miami, Carolina. That's just a nasty game.
Yeah,
let's just
move on.
You got Cooper Rush's Baltimore Ravens taking on the Texans.
Texans are favored.
You know what? Nick Chubb, that's a tough one. Not a traditional pass catcher. Only going to get a couple opportunities. Let's do it. Him and Dalton Schultz, let's ride. And the Baltimore Ravens. Oh, you know what? There's another hint or another thing I like. If it's a backup quarterback, again, Baltimore, I know, you know who's done me right a good bit? The running backs for Baltimore. Okay, so Derrick Henry, he's only set at about 5. They've been checking it down to him more because they're stacking the box. So look at Derrick Henry for that. All right, Kyle's saying we got to get to the other side. More help for you so you can buy your significant other something nice. Don't move. And we also have Daquan Plowden and the conversation that we had. Don't move. Allen Stiles coming up.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
What makes you so different than the rest of us?
We ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Tell me more.
Our investment counselors focus on service over sales, prioritizing clients' needs.
How do you make money?
We don't sell any commission-based products. We have a simple management fee based on the value of our client's portfolio. So we do better when our clients do better.
What about client portfolios?
We get to know each client, their finances, family, health, lifestyle, and more, and then we tailor a portfolio based on their specific goals and needs.
Your clients really come first then, huh?
Yes, we make them a top priority. Our goal is helping them achieve a comfortable retirement.
Wow, maybe we are different.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm opening my own coffee shop.
I smell a caffeinated catastrophe.
And I needed menu boards and banners printed.
What you really needed was a reality check.
Staples really came through. They printed menus and signs, even flyers in time for my grand opening.
And that's when the other shoe dropped.
Not quite. I got $125 off my custom print order.
Cha-ching! For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online until 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
When I was a kid, I remember my dad, a lineman, leaving in the middle of the night. Families were depending on him to get their power back on to keep them safe and warm. Watching him taught me that this work isn't just about wires and circuits. It's about people and the trust they place in us when the lights go out. That's why I started Maverick Electric Heating and Air, to carry on that same promise of showing up, doing it right, and protecting families when they need us most. Visit callamaverick.com.
Just announced, Stockton Honda has been named #1 of California's best car dealers in 2025 by USA Today and Statista. This prestigious award is based on thousands of customer reviews and recommendations, ranking dealerships for service, value, and satisfaction. Out of hundreds evaluated, Stockton Honda is proud to be #1, recognized for all-around excellence and commitment to our customers. Visit Stockton Honda, where reputation meets the road.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
For over 90 years, Hagen Oaks has partnered with the biggest brands in golf to bring cutting-edge technology to your game. Our one-of-a-kind total game fitting offers a level of experience and precision that is unmatched. From driver to putter, footwear to golf balls, our TrackMan-powered performance studios, 3D footwear scanner, and Ping's Ballnamic ball fitting kiosk ensure every piece of your gear is tailored to your swing. Trust the experts at the Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop. Total game fitting starts here.
Allen Stiles. Watch the show on youtube.com/SacktownSports1140.
Or listen on the Sacktown Sports app.
We got a new drop from Matt George. Training camp had 4 different units. Okay? And the units, 4 different colors: black, gray, white, and blue. So Matt says black, the starters; gray, the bench; white, the reserves, ? And blue, the two-way / developmental players. And those last 2, Matt's just kind of assuming there. Okay, so the starters: Dennis Schroeder, Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, and Domantas Sabonis. Gray, Malik Monk, Keon Ellis. Keon
I really
Ellis.
just be chilling for real.
You don't have a drop for this one. Neek Clifford.
Butter situation.
Now we're just going to use that for now. He's new Jake LaRavia.
Oh, no. He's in the purple and gold. We can't do that. Dario Saric and Drew Eubanks. Also Terrence Davis.
We have the meat.
Sure. Terrence Davis was running along with them as well. And the reserves: Devin Carter, Isaiah Stevens, Isaac Jones, Hot Honey Jones, Doug McDermott, and Maxime Reynaud. And then blue, the two-way / developmental: Daquan Plowden. You had Dennis as well, and Dylan Cardwell. So not a ton of surprises there. I mean, I guess, again, the only technical surprise is Neek Clifford as a bench unit and Devin Carter with the reserves. But again, that's not really that much of a surprise. But they're just doing it.
Yeah, that's the rotation.
That's the rotation. That's what they're doing. That's what they like. Now it'll be kind of part of the gig how we follow this along and see if anything does change, right? If Devin has a good camp, could he find himself in that bench unit? If Isaac Jones ends up playing a little bit better than Dario Saric, could that get swapped? So maybe we'll get some more video. I know the weekend is coming up, but we'll have plenty to rehash on Monday. But there you have it. That's the current rotation, if you will. And the other part of this is that preseason games are going to matter. I know in football, a lot of times they say they like the joint practices. I know Kyle Shanahan is big on saying this. He likes the joint practices more than the preseason games. Not sure if that's how coaches feel in the NBA and in basketball too, but I do think these preseason games are going to matter. Somebody gets on a heater and, it's fairly early in the game and not just against a bunch of two-ways. I think you can make a name for yourself. So long way to go. The first preseason game, by the way, for the Kings is October 8th. So I'm very excited to watch that. Real quick, and I'll talk about this as we get closer to preseason. I recall last season getting all hyped up about preseason, and I was told that preseason doesn't matter. I was told preseason doesn't matter. The Kings went on to lose every single game in preseason. They lost every single game. I was told it didn't matter, right? Everyone said, Allen, stop making a big deal. The text line, call line, my peers. Allen, doesn't matter. They lose every single preseason game. Doesn't matter. Okay, cool. Then go on to have one of the most volatile seasons in the history of the NBA.
And barely top 5 in their own history.
So with that being said, I am paying close attention to the preseason, and I'm praying that they win a basketball game. Because I don't want to hear it, okay? I don't want to hear that preseason doesn't matter. Because clearly it mattered last season. Clearly it was a precursor for what was to come. And it wasn't great. And it was a disaster. If I was to describe last season as a preseason, it would be they lose every game. Literally, they lose every game. And that's what it was.
And now you can hang on to every result against Toronto and the Clippers.
I can't wait. All right, Kyle, let's hear from, we have Daquan Plowden ready. All right, let's hear from our guy, Daquan Plowden. Had some great.
Joined by Daquan Plowden. Daquan, how you doing, man?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. I see you got this is one of the type of stuff I'm talking about. You got these Kobe's on. See, I'm on the, do you have to do the sneaker app? Because when you in the league, you don't even do the sneaker app. Huh?
I still do the sneaker app.
Okay, well, you got better luck than me because I seen them. I got the L, not this time, but you looking good, man. Look, real quick, I was talking to, I ran into your agent at Summer League, right? And I was starting to do some homework on you. So you're from Philly?
I am.
Okay, so Eagles or
Eagles,
okay?
I'm
just saying. So back in my day, a very long time ago, I went to Temple University,
right,
out in Philly. So shout out North Philly.
Shout out North Philly.
Okay, I just had to say it. I'm like, oh, my guy's from Philly. Okay, we got to go in here. So, how do you think growing up in Philadelphia kind of shaped you as a basketball player?
I think it really just helped me learn how to adapt to any situation that's presented in front of me. You know, I feel like as a Philly hooper, we all come with that toughness. We all come with that, you know, that will to win.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I think it just really helped me figure out all the other intangibles to try to,
Yeah.
you know, what else comes with winning.
Right.
What else comes with success. So I really feel like that big adaptation just really helped me.
The summer was a fun one. I was out there, like I said, out Summer League. Almost got it done, but it was a great run for the Kings out there at Summer League. How did you enjoy your time in Vegas, and what did you learn about yourself and your teammates?
It was amazing, man. I definitely can't complain. I had a great opportunity. We all had a great opportunity as we were there. We came up a little short, but it just showed us our grit, you know.
Yeah.
Any team that's going to go out there, they're going to fight. And we continue to fight. We continue to show teams that, it might not be pretty, but we're going to figure out how to win at the end of the day. So
yeah,
I think it just really went to show how much grit we had and how together we were in that short span of time that we were together.
Yeah, talking to Daquan Plowden. So, Daquan, if you were to, for anybody driving right now, listening, or maybe watching on YouTube, if you were to describe yourself as a player to that person that maybe watched a little bit of you in Summer League but wants to know more about you, how would you describe yourself as a player?
Yeah, man, definitely unselfish. You know, I'm willing to go out there and do all the dirty work.
Yeah.
But also, I could do all the dirty work on the defensive end. I feel like I'm a two-way player. As much as I'll lock up, I'll also give you a bucket. So
yeah,
definitely that.
Yeah, I've been talking to a lot of the players about, feels like this new wave has been finding your role, right? You got your stars, you got big men, and then you have guys that need to find a role, 3 and D, whatever the case is. How do you feel you fit into one of those roles, and what role would it be?
Yeah, I think, with my current position, I think I do fit into that 3 and D role. Coming in, bringing a lot of energy, and just whatever the team needs when, on any given night. I think that's kind of the role that I kind of came into. And, like we see, as teams make their run in the playoffs and everything like that, everybody understands that what their role is and, how much of an impact they are to the team. So
yeah.
I think I definitely fit that 3 and D role.
Doug Christie, when you talk about the defensive side of things, that's always been his calling card. Have you learned anything? And I know we're just starting to get things underway here, but have you learned anything from Doug and from the coaching staff, not just how you can improve for your individual defense, but just helping as far as team defense as well?
Yeah, I think overall, when he first came in, he set the standard immediately. We're going to be a defensive team that goes out there, and we're gonna win the defensive fight on any given night. So
yeah,
I think him coming in and letting everybody know, like, hey, this is what to expect.
Right.
Like, already puts in our minds, like, okay, like, we're gonna have to really be dialed in here. We got amazing scorers in our team. Malik, Doug, Zach. Like, we got amazing scorers on our team.
Right.
So, like, with that defensive piece, like, he really came in and was like, hey, listen, like, we're going to tighten up here this year,
right,
and we're going to be on point.
So, obviously, we said you're from Philly. Now you're out here, Sacramento. You like Sacramento? Do you like Sacramento? I know the weather's different.
It's calm, bro. It's calm. I'm adapting.
Yeah. Okay, well, you know what? It's so funny because Kyle Draper, who does our play-by-play, he's from Philly as well. There's a spot in downtown Sacramento that does do cheesesteaks. I have not had it yet, but I've been meaning to get out there. I've been out here for about 3 years now, but I've been meaning to get out there. Have you found a spot?
I haven't.
Okay,
so
I'm going to do some I'm going to do some research and try to help you out. But before we get you out of here, what is your spot in Philly, or where is your spot? And there's only one right answer, and I know you're the Philly guy, but I got some skin in the game too.
I don't think it's one right answer, man. I think, so me personally, where I'm from, I just go to my corner store and they make it exactly how I like it.
Which is?
I do salt, pepper, ketchup, mayo, pickles.
On the cheesesteak?
On the cheesesteak. You got to try it. Before you knock it, you got to try it.
Okay.
But,
all right.
Everybody like theirs a little different.
Right.
But, I go to my corner stores. They hook me up.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people say Max's and such. I've been to Max's. Max's is pretty good. A sleeper, Delisandro's.
Okay.
Delisandro's.
Yeah.
So that's a good one as well.
I know they got the chicken cheesesteak that's pretty good too.
Yeah.
Man, I was waiting for you to say my spot is Ishkabibbles. That's where I'm always gonna go. That's where I'm always gonna go.
Everybody like them some Ishkabibble.
That's what I'm saying, man. Well, look, I really enjoy watching you play. Your three-point shot is always on point. We're really excited to have you out here in Sacramento. We know it's going to be a great year for you. Keep that 3-and-D. Keep it all up. And if you get any more luck on the sneaker app, please, you know who to call. You know who to call. Daquan Plowden, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great stuff from Daquan Plowden as we are. Wow. Keep it all up. And if you get any more luck on the sneaker app, please, you know who to call. You know who to call. Daquan Plowden, thank you for joining us, man.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
That was Daquan Plowden. On the other side, Whitey Gleason joins us, but we have a huge update coming out of Kings training camp. This is somebody that has been put in a really tough spot, but he looks to be starting to turn this thing around, playing with the chip on his shoulder. And we got a little bit more prop talk for you as we go through the rest of the NFL games. Don't move. One more segment. Allen Stiles, Sacktown Sports.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
So I'm a plumber and needed to get work in the door.
So business was going down the drain?
Yeah, I went to Staples. They printed yard signs, business cards, even flyers to leave at supply stores.
But at what cost, man?
Well, I saved $125 on my order, and now I'm booked solid. Boom!
Back at ya. For your business printing, Staples.
That was easy.
Now save up to $125 on custom print orders. Valid in-store and online until 11/1. Exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for details.
Kohl's Friends and Family Sale is so good, you'll want to put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Yep, the only thing you're picking up is deals. Now through Sunday, take an extra 20% off all your fall favorites. From soft throws to slow cookers, warm flannels to cozy cardigans. Plus, earn $10 Kohl's Cash for every $50 spent. So go ahead, let those notifications wait, because these prices won't. Select styles, some exclusions apply. 20% offer ends October 5th. See store or kohls.com for details.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. Stroke risk may increase. Eliquis can cause serious and potentially fatal bleeding. Don't take if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or bleed longer. A spinal injection increases blood clot risk, which may cause paralysis. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or bruising, or back pain, tingling, numbness, muscle weakness, or incontinence. Aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eloquist.com or call 1-855-ELOQUIS.
People are coming from all over to Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, from Folsom, Elk Grove, Woodland, Roseville, because they've seen for themselves the huge selection and the best prices at SacSuperstore.com. Good luck finding a lower price anywhere else. And if you do, they'll match it. It's as simple as that. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, where a handshake still means something. Open until 10 o'clock and centrally located right across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. And online at SacSuperstore.com. The guaranteed lowest price and the best selection of Dodge, Chrysler, Jeeps, and Rams. SacSuperstore.com.
It's championship night at Stockton 99 Speedway, Saturday, October 11th. Pro late models, mini stocks, legends, pure stocks, and mini modifieds in an all-out war for the crown. Kids 10 and under are always free. Grab your crew at hitstockton99.com for tickets and info. Then be there when the dust settles and legends are made.
To home for Kings talk and so much more.
Live and vocal.
Allen Stiles on Sacktown Sports.
Look, man, Kyle is rolling his eyes, but I'm telling you right now, you can see it on a couple different X accounts. Matt George is where I saw it. Whitey Gleason joins us. Whitey, did you see?
I saw it.
Did you actually?
I did.
Okay, so let me lay this out for everyone. They're scrimmaging, just like we talked about in the last segment. It's a game winner.
Sudden death.
And Devin Carter takes the rock. He looks like he's going to take a long-range three, dribbles up a little bit, does a little mini step back. And I'm telling you, I know it's one thing in practice, even though this was a scrimmage, and you change your swing or you change your shot, and then in a game speed, it changes back. That was the quick, and people are talking about it. I'm just saying that was the quickest release I've ever seen from Devin Carter. And it was cash money. And Maxime Reynaud yelled something that we can't say on the radio, and everybody was hyped up. That I'm just saying, clearly he's working on things, but that was by far the quickest release I've ever seen from Devin Carter.
What I noticed too is he didn't drift too much.
Yeah,
last year sometimes he tended to especially on the longer shots. So that drift away.
It looked like
it was money.
It looked like a smooth jump shot. Looked like a smooth jump shot.
The thing is, he took it with a lot of confidence.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So that team won. They beat the starters, at least that go round. I'm sure they played multiple games. And that was really nice to see as we were messing around talking about this crazy Rockets Keon possible trade.
What?
This is just from Bleacher Report.
Okay.
Our guy Eric Pincus. And he said, Keon, what was it, Kyle? Keon in a second. And the Kings would get back Tari Eason. And I was intrigued, and Whitey, I would do it. I'm just tell you right now. Okay, you would too.
I love Tari Eason.
Yeah, and
He'd be a great fit.
He's younger than Keon, which is crazy, and it's a position that the Kings need. But
I know you want to free up room for Russ too. So,
which Russ? Russell Wilson?
No.
I don't even know if this trade would do that.
If you're trading a guard, I'm thinking you.
Yeah, that's true.
That's all I'm thinking.
That's true. And we spent a lot of time today, Whitey. Let me hold on now. Hold on.
Yeah. What's the matter?
He's got to put on his.
We spent a lot of time, and I can't wait to get your thoughts.
Okay.
Oh, are you with me, Whitey?
I don't know.
These are my mac and cheese glasses.
Yeah,
Mac Jones. Spent a lot of time talking about Mac Jones. Where are you at? Pumping the brakes on Mac Jones. It's only been a couple games. Do you think they are headed towards a QB controversy? They're not headed towards a QB controversy because they paid Brock. So I guess the better question
They haven't paid him yet.
Right. I guess the better question is, how much better do you think Brock Purdy is than Mac Jones? That's the question.
Mac Jones is definitely a lot better than an injured Brock Purdy. We know that.
We do know that.
Definitely.
We do. I like where you're headed, Whitey.
Other than that, yeah, maybe Brock Purdy ends up, how about this? Maybe Brock Purdy ends up being the bridge quarterback.
How crazy is this? What world are we living in? Whitey, I'm watching yesterday. This guy was flinging the football. He was spinning it everywhere.
He was. I know the first game he played against the Saints, he had a funny release on some passes.
Yeah.
And I was watching going, I thought he had a stronger arm than Brock. And last night's like, oh, yeah, he's got a stronger arm than Brock.
Yeah, he does. And obviously, the same way you were talking about Devin Carter, playing with a lot of confidence. Either way, he has changed the trajectory of his career. He will be he can be Sam Darnold or whoever, and he's probably going to get, and thank you for texting me yesterday. I don't know that, because everybody keeps talking, the text line kept saying, trade him for Trey Hendrickson. Brothers and sisters, Brock is not healthy. They can't trade him.
Right. That's not a great idea.
They can't trade him right now. But even if Brock was healthy, Kyle Shanahan is addicted to QB controversy. He will not move off of this is where he does his best work. I see Jay rolling up here too. Every time there's a QB controversy, they go to at least the NFC Championship. Mm-hmm. I'm telling you, this is it. This is what you needed.
Everyone thought that Kirk Cousins was Shanahan's guy, but Mac might really be his guy.
I'm telling you.
Me and Mac Jones.
First round talent. Now, and I got caught up on the fact that he's not mobile. Because we looked up, we're calling them stuck in the mud quarterbacks. There's only about 3 or 4 in the league right now. Everybody can do a little bit of something, whether they want to or not. And Mac really does not move.
No, he does not.
So
even when he's healthier.
No.
He just does not.
So coming out of college, I didn't understand him. And once the Niners traded to move up, I thought, well, you cannot. And I think he honestly got bullied and got scared out of taking Mac Jones that high. That's what I think. And they ended up going with Trey Lance, probably the one quarterback in history that cannot work within Kyle Shanahan's offense.
Yeah. I don't know if he got bullied because he's the main decision maker.
No,
but I believe he did get talked out of it.
He did.
Yeah.
Do you think he got talked? Yeah, by the organization, you think?
By a number of other decision makers.
Whitey's got sources?
I think we all kind of know this. Once they traded up, I think even Shanahan realized they're not going to be able to justify trading 3 first-round picks for Mac Jones.
Whitey with the sources. Whitey, what's coming up on the show today? More sources. You were telling me about the Giants interviewing, according to Susan Slesser, Kurt Suzuki. Mm-hmm. So it's just all catchers for Buster.
Right.
That's what he wants to do. At least he knows what he wants. Mm-hmm. Right? That's what I've been saying. If you know what you want, that kind of helps things. Early on when Buster was saying, I'm open to everything. It doesn't matter if you have experience or not. Look, I know you have to say that out loud, but I actually hope that you have an idea of what you want, because if you don't know what you want, that's going to make this search quite difficult.
Yeah, we'll, of course, talk a lot about the game last night. And as great as Mac Jones was, we'll tell you what the biggest surprise of that game last night was. The one thing that nobody saw coming. Nobody saw coming. Also, we got possible update on Russell Westbrook's status. Now, I'm not saying he's coming here. I'm just saying we have a possible update on his status. And thank you for not asking me about the game between the Cubs and the Padres.
Oh, I already talked to Kyle.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to be embarrassed as a fan. They're trying to fight the umps. What's going on
We
here?
don't know what the umpire said. Did you see when they were going down the steps?
Oh, I saw.
And the umpire turned back, said something.
Yeah.
We don't know what he said.
It's time for robot umps.
We'll have them next year.
And this will be the start.
Challenges.
This will be the start. And then after that, it's time. Because that's a bad look. And your Padres, you gave up Mason. You gave up number 3 prospect for 1 win, 1 playoff win.
Is he retiring? Is Mason Miller retiring? He's not playing next year? I
That's what somebody.
I saw that, and I was like, wait, what?
Love to see Leo DeVries throw at 104.5 on the black.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm just.
That guy throws FM radio stations.
Look, I am.
104.5. The Heat.
That is vintage Whitey Gleason, everyone. No, I liked it.
Wow.
That's the board. I don't get to decide. The board.
I liked it, Whitey. Okay, don't get me wrong. And I did want to go through. Let me see here, Kyle. It seems like it's kind of a. I know football's like pizza, and there's no bad games. But
by the way,
like
not true. People who watch college football
games this week.
Yeah.
NFL.
It's not great, right?
It's not.
I'm looking here.
I mean, you got the Giants and Saints. That might not even be the worst game.
No, Vegas Colts is okay.
You have Dolphins Panthers, and that might not be the worst game.
Exactly.
Denver Philly is probably going to be pretty ugly. Tampa Seattle might be the most aesthetically pleasing
I'm with
game.
you. I also like Chargers against the Commanders.
Oh yeah, there you go. Chargers Commanders.
Mariota's Commanders.
Chargers Commanders. Oh, where is that one, Whitey?
It's in the Chargers.
I see. It's in the afternoon slate. New England, Buffalo. I feel like Buffalo is getting pretty lucky here early. I know that New England's not bad. I feel like Buffalo's getting pretty pretty easy games here to start. I know they play in the AFC East.
Yeah, their division is so trash that it's like the regular season just doesn't matter to them because they're going to win the division.
Houston, Baltimore, there's no Lamar's going to try to play. This is actually a bad week.
I agree.
A bad NFL week. We're going to watch, but
I would watch baseball, but I don't like baseball anymore, so I'm not watching baseball.
Yeah. Well, if you want to see hitting, right, and fighting like your Padres, might as well watch some football.
No, I wish the Padres put up more fight before the game.
I've been a Padre fan for 30 years. This is nothing compared to last year or 1998 or 2010. This is nothing.
Well, they can't hurt me. I went from age 5 to age 20 with no playoffs.
What's up with your boy Tatis, man? He was supposed to be the face of the league.
Platinum glove.
Then they threw him in right field.
Yeah, he's great in right field.
Yeah, it's right field.
He got a hit.
Won a platinum glove in right field.
It's right field.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
he's
right
great.
field. Remember that left fielder for the Royals? He was really good. All for
Alex
years.
Gordon?
Alex Gordon. I mean, it's left field.
Right field is a lot more important than left field, and you know that, and you're just a little sore about it because you got moved from center field to left field.
Because, there's more
which
action.
is a huge outfield demotion.
There's more.
Is it not? Center field to left field.
No, I wouldn't say. There's more action in left field. It is a demotion. It's not the same. What's a bigger demotion? Short to second or center to left?
Center to left.
Well, that's because you could go in the outfield. It's not apples to apples. That's the problem. All right. Whitey, I did have a hot take here to end the show. And I guess we could do it on Monday because it's Monday night. But I think Jacksonville's going to beat the Chiefs.
Okay.
I think the Ravens were a mess. I still think Kansas City is a mess. I know they got back Worthy, but that's my hot take.
They haven't righted the ship now at 2-2.
And I like Duval. 916-339-1140. That's the same number for the Drive guys. And thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Kyle didn't play the music. There it is. Thank you for... Okay, because we still have a minute left. You know, Whitey, another one that I liked, Jamar Chase, Jake Browning. You think they figure it out against the Detroit Lions? It's going to be a track meet.
I don't think they do.
I
didn't think the 49ers
Oh, here's a
had
better
it figured
question.
out
Here's a
last
better
night.
question.
Okay.
Is there any situation where I should just bench Jamar Chase if it just gets that bad?
Yes. Well, who else do you have?
No one.
Oh.
Calvin Ridley.
I got who else is available?
You might have to fire yourself as general manager.
Yeah.
Speaking of demotions.
Number one pick.
The real Buster Posey of GM.
And then
of
hire a
fantasy
listener to be your GM of your fantasy team.
There you go. Again, like I said, if you are prop talking this weekend, the system is very simple. Running back receiving yards, secondary receivers, and premier tight ends.
And bad quarterbacks running.
And bad young quarterbacks running unless it's Michael Penix, Cam Ward, who else?
Jackson Dart was too hot.
Jackson Dart too high.
Yeah,
37 yards too much. That's too much, okay?
Michael Penix also isn't playing, so don't worry about that.
So there it is for you. I'll talk to you on the other side. Buy your significant other something nice because you tailed a Sizzles prop talk and we cooked. Drive Guys coming up next. Whitey Glitz and Kyle Draper, Jay Johnson. Thank you for listening to the Allen Stiles Show. Thank you to all the callers, texters, sack chatters. Great conversation on a mac and cheese. I'm going to go have some mac and cheese now that the game is over. Thank you to Kyle, as always. Great week to be back. We will talk to you on Monday. Until then, secure the bag. Light the mac and cheese beam.
Beam Man signing off. Don't forget my podcast. Gotta go.
This is the story of the one. As a safety manager,